deficit, come back and beat the Ravens 26-23. Malik Willis won his Packers starting debut 16-10 over the Colts. C.J. Stroud and the Texans topped the Bears 19-13. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Danced to another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
All right, it's time for the crossover, brought to you by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. I just saw you a couple hours ago. How you doing?
What? When? What do you mean?
He's got cameras in your house.
Saturday night.
Yep. That was
more than a couple hours.
Whoa. Yeah. That's how bad that game was. We sat right next to each other.
Pretty forgettable.
Forgot about it. I could have stolen his computer when I left. He left his computer, went downstairs.
He loves to roam. He loves to take a lap.
Do you want to check out the Farley Farley post?
I like to see what I can see.
So let me give you a little background on Mr. Happer here. And this is good background. So I was watching him, and you're right. He likes to roam, and he likes to observe things.
I love to observe.
He's a guy that likes to observe other people.
That's right.
So I look down on the field, and the game is over.
Yep.
And there's Connor waiting at about the 40-yard line.
Yep. Right in the middle of it.
Why is he standing there? And then I see that the quarterback at Nebraska is being interviewed. And I'm like, oh, I know.
There's one more guy to come off the field still.
He's got his camera out. Okay, he's got his phone out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is going to be a good shot.
Did you see it?
And look what happened. So
Please credit me.
Raiola runs right in front of Connor.
Yep.
And so I saw you.
I thought he was going to do something, you know?
I thought you were going to say something to him, which would make him stop.
You know, or something like that.
Do you see that?
He doesn't talk.
Dorito!
That's if he does that, then the whole cosplay world was going to explode.
Yeah, that was being discussed
that picture
a lot.
today.
I tweeted it out right after it happened on Saturday night. Yeah, please credit me. It was almost another please credit me situation because I was walking right next to a meeting in the hallway between Eric Crouch, the most unassuming person of all time, and
which is a diss,
and Matt Rhule. Like last year, it was Eric Crouch, Heinrich Harburg, and Matt Rhule. And then that picture ended up, making it on the telecast the next week. No credit, by the way. Please credit me.
Sorry.
And
you need to put a watermark on your pictures.
Yeah, I guess I do. That's the answer to this. Yeah, I do though. I like to, whether it's talking to people or just standing out there watching. I like to move around.
Just checking out the scene.
I went Colorado game. I went down to the sideline. Like I wanted to feel it a little bit. And I felt it. And
I felt it.
And it's got
mission accomplished.
And I feel like I now know the game better. I have a better feel on what happened at the game.
I wanted to feel, and I felt it.
I wanted to feel it, and I felt it.
How many people did you wake up on as you roamed the stadium?
Wake up? What do you mean?
It was
kind of a sleepy.
It was
game.
kind of sleepy.
Yeah.
10-minute drive will do that.
I wasn't down there during the game this time. I didn't feel like I need to feel.
How'd the crowd noise?
I didn't feel it this time.
So I learned a lesson from someone. Rewatch games without sound.
Like on mute?
No, you turn down the sound.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Because you don't want to be influenced.
Okay.
So I only watched the first half of the Northern Iowa game. So how was the crowd in the background for this game?
I haven't watched any of the TV broadcast.
On the broadcast?
It was
the broadcasters kept saying, "Oh, we thought it would be a letdown after Colorado, but this is still one of the best environments."
I'll tell you what, it was packed to the gills. That was the impressive thing is when we came into our seats, and we were obviously not in the student section because we were on the north side, but that was the first thing I looked at was that reaching to the top.
It
was. So, okay, that was impressive.
Usually at those games, you could see the gaps a little bit.
Right. You could not see it.
That one, no. Pretty good.
But you can always tell. I always judge off how big of a game it is by the traffic on 80 going from Omaha to Lincoln.
That's a good one.
Little light.
Left my house right at 3:30. I live at 67th and Center. I was in the parking garage in Lincoln at 4:25.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's about a normal drive to
Yeah,
Lincoln.
it is. That is a normal
And then coming
drive.
home, because you left after I did, I was home within an hour.
Oh, that one's easy. Yeah, you have to just wait it out a little bit, and that's it.
Yeah, you just have to prepare that it's always going to slow down as you get towards the Platte River. If there happens to be a trooper on the side of the road that's got his lights on, everybody's going to slow down.
Sure.
We left pretty early because we were going to do some stuff before, but we actually entered the interstate on the Gretna exit, so we didn't have to worry about that. We didn't have to get going for a while, then all of a sudden stop.
So the worst part of that is you always get stuck behind a truck that can only go 3 miles an hour as it climbs to 60, and that's why it all gets backed up right there.
Don't you love? Because this was my observation as a kid. Like when I'd be with my dad, we'd be speeding on the freeway, and that if he'd see like a cop car on the side of the road doing radar, and we didn't have the fuzz buster going, he would hit the brakes. And I used to think, oh, that's a smart move, Dad. And then as I got older and was driving on my own, I was like, yeah, that's really going to work.
Yeah.
Because as you go speeding by, all of a sudden you slow down. And the trooper sees your lights.
They're catching
like, oh, thank God.
You
went from
a mile
80 to
ahead.
65.
Yeah. You find out that they actually can gun you well before you even entered their little zone.
Yeah,
there.
they got you. They got you before you're going into your slow down.
I would think, though, as someone that is observing / enforcing traffic, if you're a state patrolman and you see the amount of brake lights, I would think that'd be very amusing. Like, I wasn't going to get you anyway, but I appreciate it.
You spent a little bit of time in the South, right? Like on the back roads. If like you drive from like Charleston to
oh my God,
Tybee Island or something like that. So you're like on Highway 17 in South Carolina, where you feel like you can go fast. I noticed that in the South, in a lot of these small towns, because I noticed this when you drive from Jacksonville to Fort Myers, you drive through a lot of small towns where you got that cop that's sitting there, and if you're going 36 and a 35, you're getting pulled over. I noticed a lot of those towns will put like an empty police vehicle by the side of the road.
Yeah, that's a great move.
That you will slow
It works.
down.
It's essentially the equivalent of the radar that's in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
that is flashing your speed limit. So you're like, oh God.
It's more of a traffic suppressing device.
Does this report back to the precinct? So if that thing catches me going 30, someone's going to be here in a matter of minutes pulling me over?
No, it does not.
No,
it does not.
It does not.
No calls will be made.
No.
They can't get you fast enough.
Man, did you see it? You reached the speed limit that says slow down. It's one thing when it starts blinking the number, and then when it says slow down, you're like, damn,
You're going way over.
Yeah, you're going too fast.
Yeah, there's one of those going into Hastings. And guess what? I'm not doing. Slowing down.
Slowing down to Hastings? Oh, come on.
No. Not until you get to the corner there with the Casey's and the Knicks Giros.
See, that was my. Now you get to
I know where you're at.
Now you can completely to Highway
Hastings
31.
High.
You can completely bypass North Bend, but on my way from Omaha to Columbus and vice versa, I'd always have to do that through North Bend.
Yes.
And you're
It's
like,
the
gosh,
old
dang
slow
it,
down.
really? But now you bypass that whole thing. You can make Omaha to Columbus now 45 minutes easy.
Every once in a while, I
It's great.
take Highway 6 down to Lincoln just for fun because I like to observe.
What is there to observe on Highway 6?
Oh, many things.
Now, from Lincoln
Towns.
to Omaha, you have to drive a ways before you're on 6.
Yeah.
Like you got to move your way through Waverly.
But that's the way I take anyway.
Oh.
Like that's the way I
You stop off at Lenoma Beach.
Of course, again,
You say R.I.P. Lenoma
I-
Beach.
you go by
Okay.
you go by the light tower.
Before
right?
I ever knew what Lenoma Beach was, I would hear it on the radio and it would be referenced. And I was like, man, I got to go to
You
this.
thought it was like an
This
oasis.
sounds like the place to be.
It
Like,
was.
Everybody is talking about going to Lenoma
It
Beach.
was.
and seeing the light
Yeah.
tower.
The
It
first
was.
time I went there, I was like, what is this?
It was our beach. We had a beach.
Well, it's kind of like
Can
a
I-
harbor because you do have a light
So,
tower.
did it used to look much different?
Well, there used to be games and things in there, like stuff that you could do. They would give you, you could have a canoe and you could canoe around in there. You could.
There might have been the occasional pedal boat.
For at one point they had those big blobs where you jump on the blob and
Yeah.
they go flying off the
Mhm.
blob. They had
Yeah,
that.
I
And
do
then
remember that. Yeah.
They had some problems out there. I think with some people getting injured
Mhm.
/ more than that. And then
It
now
was our own action park.
yeah. You can see Ashland Country Club.
Yep.
On your drive there.
Very good place.
Yep. Many
Nice golf course.
many grain bins.
And now as you go by, you realize you're about 5 minutes away from Parker House. You
Park-
zip right by
Parker
the
Smokehouse.
lighthouse, and you're like, all
Yeah.
right, Parker's just up the road.
I'm sure-
The
I'm
OG.
sure
And all of a
become-
sudden, bang! You're in Waverly.
I'm sure it'll become very
Matt
popular
Rhule's
because
home.
you'll be on the edge of Big Lake.
Big leg. Watch out! Yeah, all of a sudden now they're gonna have to make Highway 6 2 lanes each.
Do you think that when they open a Big Lake, it will shut down Okoboji? All the
Yeah.
Omahans that go to Okoboji and have
Mm.
property up there, they're
Yep.
like, you know what? Stay close to home.
I've
Go
never
Big
been
Lake.
to Okoboji.
Never really.
I got the invite.
That's actually very surprising.
I got the invite once or twice, and I'm just like, I just don't think that I want to go to Okoboji.
I could see you being a Boji guy.
I don't know. I don't know what happens there. What happens in Okoboji?
I mean, it's in a way like Ozarks.
okay.
So if you are a certain age, you could have a lot of good fun, especially during holidays in the summer.
All right.
It's got that.
Food and drink and
Yep.
fun.
Yeah, food,
And
drink,
boating.
fun.
Drink, fun,
Yep.
boating.
It's basically
beach,
Iowa's
water.
Ozarks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
good golf courses there, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have an
They-
amusement park, Arnold's Park.
All right.
You should go in the. You know what? I think your first trip to Okoboji actually should be for the Winter Festival, when you can.
That sounds bad.
No, it's actually
Is it?
it's a major party
Okoboji
is it?
in the
Okay.
because
winter.
the Okoboji is frozen,
Yeah.
and so they have all the winter games like snowmobiling and
Oh,
they have a
okay.
bonfire and they have everything that is out on the water,
Okay.
out on the frozen water. It's kind of like you're in Minnesota.
Okay.
Star Wars Fiend says Okoboji is overrated.
That's why Big Lake's got an opportunity. Here. They need to get going on Big Lake.
Treggy
Big
says
Lake.
Boji Nights. Like he's been there. To,
Boji.
It's
Did he
like
just?
Boogie Nights?
Yeah, he just said, "Oh man,
It is the
Boji
getaway
nights.
for it is the weekend getaway for Omahans.
Oops, sorry.
If you drive like on Fridays during the summertime,
Mhm.
I-29 before you get off I-29 to move your way up to Okoboji, nothing but Omaha cars. Going to Okoboji.
Summer nights, Boji nights,
Boji Nights.
Some people don't
Remember those Boji
Some
nights?
people live in the same neighborhood and they don't see their neighbor, but they go to Okoboji and they see their neighbor. That's
Fremont
how it
Fred
works.
says Winter Festival in Okoboji is way better than summer. There you go.
Wow.
Okay, confirmed.
Sauron Boji. Fremont Fred would know. He likes fun.
He does like fun.
Treggy says Boji Nights is the strip club.
Oh, really?
Oh, never mind.
Hello.
I thought it was just like Boji
Do you-
nights.
what
I
does
guess
it-
it would work at a
What
strip
does
club
it
too.
say about you if you go on vacation and one of your stops is a strip club? And
Oh,
it's
I
not
think
like for a bachelor
lot.
party.
I think you know what it says about you.
It's a gentleman's club.
They have a good breakfast buffet.
Oh yeah. Hey, After 6, when they roll out that prime rib, woo, that's unbelievable.
Mike says hard pass on Okaboji, overrated posers. He's a big fan of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Oh, Geneva is good. I don't know about parties. We've done Lake Geneva a few
bunch
times.
of posers. That's the question.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Let's just start a war right now.
Lake Geneva
People
is
from Northwest
sneaky
Iowa.
good. Yeah, Lake Geneva is good stuff. It's huge. The houses on Lake Geneva too. Oh my gosh. I think the Wrigley owners actually have property there. It's a huge house.
Yeah, we got
as you would imagine.
Lake.
But it's not like you get off of work on a Friday and go, hey, let's go to Lake Geneva. And man,
No.
I got to be back in the office by 9 on Monday.
No, it's going to take you a little bit.
I'm not a huge lake guy. I think I've just decided in this
Wow.
conversation.
Yeah.
I don't really do the lake.
Whoa.
I love a lake.
I don't do the lake. It's a lake.
You're more of an ocean guy.
Yes, I
Like
am.
you're more of a Destin, Florida guy.
Show me the
Oh,
real thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about a lake.
Would you be a boat
That's
guy? then?
pretending to be a beach.
Would you if you had a boat? Then I think this would. Well, I guess in order to get a boat, you'd have to be a lake guy. then.
Yeah, like I would never get a boat because I don't
'Cause
really
you're not
care
lake guy.
about a
You don't
lake.
spend that money.
Yeah.
So you can enjoy the ocean without a boat.
Of
You
course.
You
Yeah.
can't enjoy a lake without a boat.
Right.
I see. I
Good
agree.
point.
Absolutely.
The,
I would never want to go to a lake without a boat.
the talent at Bogie Nights are called the Bogie Babes.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Are they local?
That was gonna be like the Bogie Bunnies.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, our Bogie Bunnies.
Like, you know what? Hey, during the year, teacher, summer, got to make some extra money.
Cody confirms that Bogie
Have
Nights
amateur night?
is the strip club, but he's a big fan of the Beer Olympics at Bogie.
I bet that's pretty.
Wow,
big.
this sounds like a great place, guys. Great place.
You might run into your favorite basketball coach up there. He's got a place.
He does. He's a big lake guy. I mean, not big lake, but like
for Big Lake.
he just likes big.
He likes lakes.
He likes lake.
Well,
Lake golf. Do lake and golf go hand in hand? Because it seems like different crowds.
God, I'm trying. There was
Lake crowd.
yeah, but the lake and the golf guy or gal probably has some expendable income.
Not
Maybe, or you're just going to the lake. you know?
not every golfer is a lake guy, but every lake guy is a golfer.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Not the lake guys I'm thinking
Okay.
of.
You know what, Josh? The lake guys I'm thinking of, I think do play golf, so I don't think you're
Okay.
so far off there. I know.
I don't know. I
It
have an
seems like
image
a lot
in
of
my
basketball
head.
coaches are lake guys because we were at Traverse City last year, and then that's right off Lake Michigan. Tom Izzo has a place out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have an image in my head of lake guy, and it's not that. It's not that.
Are you thinking of the guy who? Oh, never mind.
I'm just
Major
thinking of a
college
lake guy.
football and basketball coaches are big lake guys.
Yeah, you got to have your getaway.
You could do like nice lake, but you could do like day trip lake.
Well,
you
yeah, they're
know?
not Lenoma Beach lake guy.
Yeah.
I guess river. I guess
Right.
more river.
That's the kind of lake guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Is that? I can't tell. It's kind of he's wearing a hat. Is that Rhule on his deck there in Lenoma?
Brett in Minnesota says, "How dare you? I am lake and golf guy."
But Minnesota's different. Like you come out of the womb and you got a pair of hockey skates on
Yeah.
and a fishing pole.
See, that's a lake I can get by with. I can do
There's
that.
10,000 of them.
That's a big lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lay out of 10,000 lakes there.
It feels real, right? It doesn't feel like this man made like, "Here, let's put a lake here and invite everybody."
So
to come out.
Nebraska, because there's not access to lakes in Nebraska. is
No,
what you're saying.
we just have to go without it. It's okay.
All of my knowledge of lake people is informed by Minnesotans.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
So that's where I'm getting all my
It's
Yeah.
different.
I think lake people are like, wannabe beach people. So they put like Salt Life on their trucks and it's like, just go to the beach. You can get to one.
Are they tan during the winter too?
Yeah,
Because it just never leaves them.
Yeah.
Bo Ryan also, I believe, Lake Geneva
that tracks.
in Wisconsin.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That's getting closer to the lake guy that I'm talking about.
I know Bo Ryan golfs.
Bo Ryan, yeah. Bo Ryan's got a suit that doesn't fit him, one of those guys. Too big.
So it's got.
I only got one suit. That's all I got. Just happened to be a college basketball coach,
Mm-hmm.
formerly, I guess.
It's like painting people with certain brushes.
I like the float trip. I did the float trip a couple
You
times.
did you ever go tanking then?
to the Niobrara?
Yeah.
No, I
You
didn't.
tank in it.
No, it was tube.
Tubing,
It
yeah.
was tubing.
Yeah, float.
I think you should. You know what? As your daughter gets a little bit older, you and your wife can enjoy it. I think you should go to the Dells in
The
Wisconsin.
Dells.
I've never been, and I've heard great things for the Dells, especially when you do have like a younger person in your family too, that they would really enjoy the Dells.
The Dells.
Mhm.
What happens in the Dells?
A lot
So,
of water
Water
parks.
park, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Big old water park.
I don't think we're going to be an amusement park family.
You are already.
I
you're
just
already
don't
making
think
an
we
assumption
are.
for your daughter.
No,
and she doesn't even know yet.
You're going to suppress her from amusement
Here's the
parks?
thing, like she's
What if
gonna
you're not-
she's gonna know what she wants, but like I can tell her also what she can like.
Connor here for silencing women.
What if your daughter is an Adventureland person?
She's not.
Oh. Do they still have the tornado there? Because if you deny her the tornado,
She does
my
not
God.
want to go to the amusement park. She doesn't. I've already talked to her about it.
Adventureland.
So her chance during the summer when she gets of age and her friends are like, "Hey, let's go to Funplex." Dad'll be like, "Nope, that's not what we do.
Yeah, we're not an amusement park
Happers.
I
family.
would go to Funplex. That doesn't take much effort to go to Funplex.
We're Happers.
right?
We're Costco
Okay.
people."
Yeah. Here's a chicken bake. No, it just takes a lot of effort to do these, go to these places. And then you're not getting Funplex, great. We could go to Funplex. It's on 72nd and Q, dude. We can just all go.
Yep.
It's 5 minutes away.
Way to stick with the
And
We don't have to go to the Dells.
Adventureland is like $220.
That's too long for what Adventureland brings to the
That's
table.
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Josh. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Now, the
You might as well
water-
go the extra half hour and go
the
to Worlds
log
of Fun.
ride shutting down kind of took away because that was
You know what I would do? I would take her to the Mall of America. I love the Mall of America.
which also has an
A roller
amusement
coaster,
park
yes.
inside of
And
it.
a log ride.
Mhm.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yes.
I used to be scared of the
And
log ride.
many stores.
The Viking Voyager. I used to be scared of it.
It's
'Cause I thought, what
the one
happens
in
if
Mall
you
of America?
No. This was the one, I think, Worlds of Fun or Adventureland. One of them was the Viking Voyager, and I always thought if I fell out, what would happen? Would I die?
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
$300 later, Connor at the American Girl store.
Yeah.
Buying a
Yeah.
couple dolls.
And that's fine. That's fine. Because it's the Mall of America. It's America's mall.
Hey, I know it still exists, but is Worlds of Fun still a big thing in Omaha?
Not as
No.
much. You don't hear about it as much.
You don't
No.
hear Worlds of Fun advertised here like you used to.
Used
It
to be
was-
on the Pepsi cans,
Yep.
on the Mountain Dew cans.
You used to be able to go to Baker's and get like a
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
$20 off
Yep.
admission at Worlds of Fun.
Yep, that's how we enjoyed it. And
Yeah,
then
they-
now it's like, I'd rather go to Six Flags.
Yeah, people would make a whole weekend out of it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to go see the crappy Royals on Saturday, and we're going to go to Worlds of Fun on Sunday.
Oh, we go to Worlds of
Do
Fun
they
all
still
the
have
time.
the water park that's attached to
Yeah,
Worlds of Fun?
Oceans of Fun.
Oceans of Fun.
It's still there.
You could stand on that bridge and
is.
get slapped by the water.
Yeah, when the big ride comes
Yeah.
down, yeah, because you want to just like
The monsoon.
feel miserable the rest of the time.
The monsoon.
I don't think I saw an advertisement all summer
I
for
haven't.
Worlds of Fun.
No.
Oh, it's been many summers.
Wow.
I don't think
Yeah.
we're going to go there either. I don't think we're going to go there
You
either.
don't think that when you're driving and you're like, you know what?
When you go for lunch,
We're going to take the I don't know, I can't remember what freeway it is, the roundabout to go to the K.
435.
Oh, and your daughter goes, look at that water tower and the different colors.
I say that's
You know what I
right.
mean? Like,
yes,
That's
that's
right,
right.
sweetie.
That's the Worlds of Fun water tower.
You'll never be there.
Yeah, you're never gonna go. Is that a roller coaster?
You know
doing
what
a loop right over there?
My,
Yeah, tell me
my
about that.
parents never took me to Worlds of Fun.
Really?
I had to just figure it out. I had to
Really?
just go.
Oh, okay, but I was making sure you
I
have
went to
been.
Worlds of Fun.
Okay.
I went to Worlds of Fun. I went on it was like I don't know if it was a church thing or something like that. We all packed on a bus and went to Worlds of Fun.
I do feel really bad now knowing that my parents took all four of us to Worlds of Fun together in that trip. I'm sure we were not easy to handle, and just going to amusement parks with multiple kids just sounds miserable.
Sean says,
Hi, Sean.
I can't wait for Connor Happer to take the family trip to Disney World. I would definitely do Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go big. I don't want to go to like what's one Disney World trip? Like 6 Worlds of Fun trips. I will take
might be more.
I will take the Disney World.
Going to Adventureland is all the effort of going to Disney, but without the getting
Yeah.
Disney
Exactly.
out of it.
But
Exactly, Josh.
you do notice the break in price, I would say.
Of course.
Adventureland compared to Disney World or Land.
But if I could get her to hold off, like, we're not taking you to Worlds of Fun like
But-
100 times in a row,
Yeah.
and then we'll go. But instead,
I
we'll go
would
to
just
Disney World when
I
you're
would
8.
just recommend, as someone who has been to Disney World quite often,
I love Disney World.
go when your daughter can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you think
Yeah.
that is? 10?
Well, because we're starting to think about that with Reese. He's
Getting
about
close?
to be 4, so we're thinking between 4 and 5.
Oh boy.
I never went. I've never gone, so this will be exciting for me too.
That feels too young to appreciate.
Yeah,
Is it?
I
Okay,
feel
cool,
like
cool. Good, because I want to
Yeah.
push this thing off as much as we can.
I feel like I don't remember stuff.
Like, what about
until
7?
I
I
was,
was
like
thinking
8.
7's like the
7?
minimum.
Would
Yeah.
7 be a good year? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this now.
Do that.
Okay.
You got a few years.
Good.
You get there.
Hey, there's a lot of stuff at Oceans of Fun.
Ocean's Fun was fun.
Dan says
What's
Six
fun?
Flags now owns Worlds of Fun. They're trying to upgrade it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
You don't think like when you like to go to Denver, you're not driving to go see your beloved Nuggets play, and you're like, man, Elitch Gardens is the
Yeah.
place for me.
Never thought that.
Elitch Gardens is kind of cool.
I've never
That
thought
was
that.
kind of fun.
Or whatever the new places that the hipsters like to go to in Denver with all the weird stuff. You guys seen this place?
REI?
Dispensaries?
No, not REI. We have one of those at
We do now
the outlets.
at the outlets.
Meow Wolf. Meow Wolf.
Oh, the
everybody
painting
loves
place.
to go to Meow
It's
Wolf.
right off 25 by the football stadium,
yes,
right? Yes,
it is.
Yeah,
Meow
I had to.
yeah, I've heard of this.
The last time
place.
when I was recently in Denver, because you see it and you're like, what is this?
Exactly.
I kind of like to go inside.
I would not.
I'd like to experience it.
I would not. Just go to the mountains, have a beer.
When you guys were growing up, did you ever get offered the amazing experience of going to Silver Dollar City in Branson?
Oh yeah,
Which
I've
is like maybe the worst theme park because
I've been.
there's nothing.
Yeah, it's terrible.
We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to amusement park just so because our parents, of course, all the older people want to go to Branson
What's
because
the
it's a lot
one-
more calm. But they have an amusement park. That ain't an amusement park.
what's the one in Tennessee?
Dollywood?
Yes, we went there once.
You went to Dollywood?
We didn't make it like a trip. It was like a stop off.
How was
Wow,
It was weird.
I would imagine.
It was so weird.
it? So what makes it Dolly World? Is she everywhere?
Yeah.
It's her world.
I don't really know. It wasn't. I just remember thinking, what's going on
So the
here?
Happers were driving through the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Like-
you know, we got Gatlinburg. We can experience some history. We
Yeah.
got
Dolly
Dolly
World.
World.
Dollywood.
Or
Mhm.
Dollywood, yeah. You're greeted by 2 big mountains. No, I don't know that.
Did you get out and
Oh,
like
no, we
go
went.
experience the Smoky Mountains?
Not like we didn't go like hiking or anything like that. I think we stopped off at the Tennessee Smokies baseball park just to look through the doors or something like that.
It's now closed. They're moving a new ballpark in Knoxville.
Are they still going to be the Smokies? Because
Yes.
that's a great
Yep.
team name.
They're
Okay.
just moving into a ballpark. I think it's closer to downtown Knoxville.
A couple comments. First from the 402, don't go to Meow Wolf unless you're high or on acid. Okay.
Oh,
Good note.
nice.
And let's
That's
see.
a hell
Oh,
of a
yes.
combo.
Aaron, driving back from the Packers game to Milwaukee, Connor, the Mall of America has made me as disgusted as watching Caleb Williams throwing a football. Terrible place. All malls suck. If you think all malls suck, then you probably definitely don't like the Mall of America. Oh, how about this from the 402? Connor, if you take your daughter to Disney World or Land, they are free before the age of 3. Is this true?
Still.
A child ticket for ages 3 to 9, they are charged as an adult at the age of 10. Okay, so you got to go before 10.
Okay, yeah. We're
You gotta
go before 10.
10.
Yeah.
You got to go before 10.
Did
But
you
I still
know
wouldn't want to
kids
take one
under
before
3
3.
don't require theme park tickets or reservations?
Okay, but
Still.
you're not getting.
I got to pay for myself and my wife. It's going to be a little expensive. And at that age, they're definitely not remembering.
They are
Okay, but here's the
considered
thing.
special guests of Mickey Mouse and are welcome to experience many attractions. They also eat free at select buffets and family dining
Holy
locations.
God.
Wait, buffets now?
But here's
Are
the
we
deal.
talking about buffets?
when you do that though, if you do take the kid before 3 and
Before
they can
they're
get in for
charged.
free
Yeah.
before they get charged, then the trip is more about you, which is great because you can take time to focus on yourselves.
So
Yeah, but you got that- you got
I
that
still
baby
have
anchor
the
around your
kid
neck,
with
yeah.
me.
Yeah, but you don't feel like, well,
do
we
they
to
have
take the kid to do
daycare
whatever-
there that's free?
That's a great question. Maybe Mickey will watch.
Yeah,
the
well,
kid.
Mickey watched the kid for like 3 hours
I bet
for free.
I bet they do. I bet they do.
There probably is some type of like a little.
When the parents go to Epcot and they get hammered drinking
Yeah,
the beers
yeah.
around the world or
there's like
whatever.
there's like a little kid fun
You're
zone.
like, drop your
that
kid
are-
off here.
Yep.
Well, Mickey will watch him for a couple hours.
Yes, Disney has several child care options, including baby care centers, Camp Dolphin, and a child care program for cast members. Well,
So there you go.
Okay.
You can't have that
We
one.
don't.
No,
We're not members.
I just want to know if it's free.
Yeah, Yeah, but then of course, if you do this, then you have to go again,
Right.
at some point.
You know what would be
Or
good?
just have 2 kids and then take them both, and then you knock them both out.
So
2 kids.
from the Floridian
Maybe you could.
perspective on when to go to the parks, I think you would enjoy the parks over Christmas. Not
I've heard
go at
this.
Christmas break when everybody in the country is
Yeah,
going, but the first part of December when the park has all the lights, it's
Yes.
really pretty cool.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I have an
there's
aunt and uncle who live in the
and
area.
most of the
They go
people
every
that
year.
are there are locals.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
go every year for either Thanksgiving or
it's
Christmas.
Unbelievable what they do to Disney World with the lights.
That would be cool. And you might see a Central Florida National Championship celebration.
You never
Would-
know.
Would be great.
You never know what you'll see.
I was telling Nick this, and I was told they still do the daycare in Lincoln for Husker games where you can take your kids and drop them off, and so they entertain them, during the game. I think there should be more sports venues that offer that.
It really is a great idea.
Like you and your wife, you're already going because you're working. Like, would you go to more Creighton games if you didn't have to search out a babysitter to come
I
to your
don't
house?
know yet.
But you would take your daughter down to the CHI, and as you and your wife were going in to enjoy a night in the Lexus Club or whatever they're calling it today, and then go sit in your seats, you could drop your daughter off.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it. You can enjoy the game, and then when the game's over,
Not sure.
you pick up your daughter and you go home.
We're in a fortunate position. We have the very willing grandparents of
Yeah.
the children.
But there's going to come a point where you're going to exhaust that, and they'll be like, "No more."
We'll see.
Or they're going to start sending.
It doesn't seem like it right now.
Well, I think-
my parents and her parents, they love.
Oh, that's the beauty about the
Yeah.
newborn. They can't get enough of them.
Yeah, I know.
Well, then maybe you got to start let's get going here. Keep the
It's
train rolling.
It's almost time to start doing stuff. Yeah, we haven't done anything for the last 6 weeks. That's for sure. It's almost time to start doing
That's
stuff.
right.
But most of the stuff I'm working. So then it would just
Mhm.
be mom and the kid.
Oh, like doing stuff outside of the house.
Yeah.
I thought this was a code word for something else.
No.
Oh,
No. Mm-mm.
okay.
All right. He's like, no, don't worry about that.
Well, I didn't know if it was like, nope, not go.
Not that stuff.
Okay. All right.
Not that stuff. All right. Good talk.
Good talk.
Good talk.
A lot
Good
of people,
talk, son.
Hey,
Good talk,
a lot
Russ.
of lot of people think you are a Adventureland guy.
Well, I don't like that. I don't want to be that. So, what kind of? Maybe I'm a football guy. I'm a baseball guy. I'm a Costco
Why can't you be
guy.
an Adventureland guy?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of baseball fans are
I
Adventureland
just
guys.
don't want to be that.
Hmm.
I've never even been
Sad.
to Adventureland.
You've not experienced
How
the
have
tornado?
you how have you grown up in Omaha and never gone to Adventureland?
I don't know. I've only seen the commercial 100 times. Come on over
to
to
Adventureland.
I don't want to
We're
go.
gonna have a fun field day.
Every time I would yell at my TV, I would say no.
I don't want to.
I don't want it.
I agree. I've never been to Adventure.
I would
Really?
What is this? I thought all Omahans came over
Oh,
to
I have.
Adventureland.
I wasn't
I
begging.
would never.
I
I
have
wasn't
many
begging my
times.
parents to take me to the amusement parks. I was begging them to take me to a baseball game or something like that.
I went to Worlds of Fun every summer, so I didn't need to go to.
We
Adventureland.
did. There was one morning. I remember my mom waking us up. We had no plans at all. It was just a summer, and it was just me and my one older brother. And she said, "You guys want to go to Adventureland? Yeah, let's go." That morning, boom, there
Okay.
by noon. Had a blast.
It's like
Got
a
back.
Big 12 road trip.
Got back by dinner time.
It's like
That's
we're in the
what it
Big 12 North again. Sad.
Chris says, when my dad helped me move to Tennessee for my final year of college, he made me drive him to Dollywood at 9:30 at night in January, knowing it was closed, just to get a photo at the entrance.
That's awesome. That's
Freaking
awesome.
He said his dad, this might be a poll question, like most guys, is a Dolly Parton fan. Not because of her singing, all I
Yeah.
could do was laugh.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been a Dolly Parton fan,
Yes.
but I did go to Dollywood.
I have
Heard she's
I
very
have
nice.
seen when I was a youngin, Dolly Parton in concert at the Iowa State Fair.
I bet it's good.
Hello.
Hello.
My dad was a big country music fan back in the day, and now he's more like the Bud Crawford, Kendrick Lamar, that kind of music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Bud Crawford music?
So
What's that?
so
Is that
you-
Skrilla?
so UFC the other night. Josh knows where I'm going here.
I do.
Not everybody looks alike. They identified
Oh, I
Bud
saw
Crawford
this.
as Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar and Bud really don't look like each
That
other.
was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Imagine
Definitely
the UFC
racist.
of all places
Yeah.
making a racist mix-up like that.
Who could have guessed?
I'm like, that is the champ. Have you not watched Chasing 3?
He's the champ of rap battles with Drake.
Chasing 3.
Has Dana White.
Hey,
watched
Dad, he's doing
Chasing
this.
Dana White
What were they
watched
talking about?
Chasing 3.
Were they like, can't wait for this guy to do the Super Bowl halftime show?
Oh yeah, what was the audio?
Were they
to
talking
go
underneath
along
No,
with
they
it?
were just like, so he was sitting next to a sheik.
Yes, he was.
Yes, the sheik was next to him. And they
Gotcha.
were identifying people in the crowd.
Totally.
And they're like, Kendrick Lamar. And I'm
That's
like,
him.
no, I've
Kendrick
seen that.
Lamar's from Nebraska.
I've seen that guy before. Do you guys think that the announcement of the Super Bowl with Kendrick Lamar was like the final nail in the coffin of Drake?
Yes.
Like you can't come back from that.
Nope.
Like you've been dissed.
He's
and all
going
of
to
a
call
sudden,
that man a pedophile at the halftime show of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's going to be 80 million people watching. It's going to be awesome.
and we're going to start a war with Canada after he does that.
I feel bad for Drake. You know, I
Do you?
like
okay.
Drake.
Mm.
What did he ever do to deserve this?
Well, he dissed.
I think
Kendrick,
Drake
and
is-
Kendrick turned around and dissed him back.
Pedophilia.
He talked too much. Drake is
Yep.
Drake is funny. You know, I kind of like Drake.
Mm.
Drake seems like a good personality.
Mm.
He could take a joke. Kendrick took it too far.
I
Team
mean,
Drake.
I mean, you're familiar with rap battles. I mean,
I am very. Thank you for saying that. I'm a rap battles guy, not an amusement park lake guy.
Not an Adventureland guy.
All right.
who's
See-
already made decisions for your daughter who
Oh, I got a plan. Yeah. I got a plan.
when will you sit her down and say this is what you will not be?
The second she'll listen to me.
This will be fun to observe from
Yeah.
afar.
Yeah. Let us know how that goes.
Okay.
Hey, have a good Victory Monday show.
They won. Is this correct?
They won 3-0.
I just have a hard time because I can't.
That's 3 in a row, guys.
You know,
3 in a. That's called a
It
winning
doesn't
streak.
feel like they won, but they did. Yeah.
I mean, there is
I'm looking at the AP poll and I see number 22. And I'm like, what? They won?
it's a
That's
big
crazy.
week. This is a big week for Nebraska being 3-0. And then the kid that was caught on the ESPN2 broadcast wearing the Nebraska-Illinois shirt.
The Nebranoy kid.
I'm already sick of seeing that kid.
Yeah, I don't want to see the
Mhm.
Nebranoy kid.
Dear
again.
scribes in this state,
Nebranoy.
your Nebranoy kid joke isn't funny. Stop doing it.
Oh, Josh.
Somebody will do an interview with him.
Nebranoy.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Wasn't that the same game that they caught the Nebraska player taking a leak on the sidelines?
I don't remember that.
He took a Diego Pavia on the.
He went to try and hide and went behind one of the equipment
Yeah.
trucks or trunks.
Mhm.
And
Nice.
they
Hey, when you
scanned the
gotta go,
sidelines.
yeah, I remember the
and
game. What's that?
I think it was about halfway through
Yeah.
when the producer was like,
Oh,
we cut take camera 4.
yeah.
That's why they have those big curtains now.
Well, and that's why
on
they have the canopies. Yeah.
sidelines.
Yeah. So you can
Which-
you can do that in peace.
Did I tell you that? The observation. So now they used to just have 2 guys. Now they have 4.
They have 4 big
Yeah.
tarps,
Mhm.
and then each of the coaches have different neon colored sleeves,
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
so they can throw
They could be
whatever they
flailing
want.
arm, flailing inflatable man. guy.
Yeah.
Quick one. Shout out Big Ten Network because we were all trying to figure out Ty Robinson, which coach that he knocked to the ground in the
Yeah,
Colorado
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Good bit.
That was a good bit.
So Jack Potenza,
Yeah.
um,
Just got trucked.
yeah,
too.
he got smoked, and then they came off and just politely shook his hand this time. Good move. Good move. All right. Thanks,
Okay.
guys.
See ya.
That's Crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. We'll be back after this.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, here we go. Welcome in. Happy Monday. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Welcome back from a long weekend of football, and now we have a short week. Josh, move everything up a day. You know what Nebraska did yesterday while you were sitting on your butt watching the Titans lose to the Jets? They worked. They worked. And it wasn't because they had to have a Sunday practice because they played so bad against Northern Iowa. No, it's because Nebraska plays on Friday this week. I don't know if you've heard the news. 400th consecutive sellout.
Short week. I kind of like it for our purposes because
we get to have it's a normal week, right? We don't have to really move anything up a day. It's just the game happens on Friday night, and then I'm looking forward to whatever college football gives us on Saturday, whatever the NFL gives us on Sunday. It'll be almost a bye week.
We can kind of turn the page off of Northern Iowa a little quicker.
That is going to be helpful.
Yeah.
But not today. Well, at least not to start the show anyway. I imagine we'll probably have it turned by about halfway through. Welcome to a Monday edition of the Connor Happer Show. A good question right off the bat here from Cody. When will the Pick'em email be coming? I've been waiting all morning. It went out. It went out right at 10.
Should have gone out. Check your spam folder.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. It's out. People are wondering about when to get in on 4-quarter Pick'em. If you are a 1620 the email subscriber.
10 a.m. is when it went out.
It went out. Yeah, I got it. I got it to both of my inboxes right away.
There it is.
At 10 o'clock. So check that spam folder, whatever you want to do on that. But it is there. And if you are a subscriber of Subscribe Today, then you can enter in your picks for the week. And remember, that is the tiebreaker. I don't have a word yet on who won last week. We'll get that as we go on throughout the show today. But we got $2,500 to give out a week. We're gonna have $25,000 throughout the entire season. There's a grand prize at the end for the overall. This is great stuff. It's incredible stuff. So we would encourage you all to play $25K 4-quarter Pick'em. It's open, baby, for the Subscribe Todayers anyway.
Yeah. If you're not a Subscribe Today, you can get in tomorrow. But, whoever gets the most picks right earliest wins. So
you're just you don't want to take the chance of putting in your picks late and then getting them all right and then losing on a stupid tiebreaker. It's just not the thing you want to do. So you got to do your work early, get out ahead of things. Welcome. All right. Today on the show, we'll talk to Mike Schaefer at the bottom of the 11 o'clock hour. Sam McCuin in the 1 o'clock hour. Matt Rhule's Monday press conference coming up just a hair after noon today. We'll have our Big Ten report card as well. We'll look back at the weekend in the conference. And then, of course, we'll take a look back at Nebraska and Northern Iowa, which people are, I don't know, they have mixed feelings on, apparently. Nebraska won 34-3. If you caught that number at 32.5, sorry. Did this show catch that number at 32.5? Yes, we did. Sorry.
Ouch.
Not good for us. That's the lineup powered by the Roof Freeze. John Higgins, Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees, the Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. You can watch us on YouTube. I just tweeted it out. It's amazing. You could watch radio. You could watch radio on Twitter. That might be more 2024 than streaming a college football playoff game on Max. I'm not sure. Watch radio on Twitter. Watch radio on YouTube. Watch radio on ZoneTV.live.
Tell us that we don't look like what you thought we'd look like.
Yes, we get that a lot.
We love that.
And I always ask, what did you think that we would look like? And they always say, I don't really know, but not that. And I go, well, there's a lot of potential faces out there, a lot of different combinations of what someone could look like. It just so happens that we ended up in a different way. Let's start the show with an email from Chris.
Hi, Chris.
On the Equitable Bank inbox. Dear Connor, is Nebraska the worst ranked team? Are they actually just bad?
Whoa.
They're only winning by about 27 a game, and their defense isn't even giving a touchdown a game. That's okay, I guess. But we only beat FCS UNI by 31. I know we've only won 12 games over the last 3 years, but I really feel like we should be winning by at least 50 a game. And the D should never give up a first down ever. What do you think?
Wait a minute.
With love, totally sane Nebraska fan. P.S. Keep up the good work. Love the show and the pod. Venmo Chris.
Thanks, Venmo Chris.
I think Venmo Chris is maybe being sarcastic. Maybe. But we have mixed reaction coming off of the Nebraska game from this weekend. Are they good? Are they bad? Should they have won by more? What's up with Northern Iowa running all those times and it working all those times? What's the deal with that? I was told this defense was whatever. I was told it was the steel curtain. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know what my response is to that. I don't know. You can watch that game. First of all, we don't have to judge the entire season off the Northern Iowa game. It's probably best off that we don't.
That's right.
By the way, Nebraska very, very comfortably took down an opponent that it should have taken down on Saturday night. There wasn't any doubt about it that it was ever going to happen. I mean, even when they did rip off the 10-minute drive, which sucked all the air out of the building, I never thought, oh boy, they might lose today. Because this is coming off of a very, very fast. Like if it would have been obviously really disappointing if the score of the game would have ended up being 42-35 or something like that, then we'd have a lot to talk about today. But it wasn't. It was 34-3. Nebraska's ranked. They continue to be ranked, and they'll welcome in a ranked team on Friday for the 400th consecutive sellout at Memorial Stadium. I was looking at the poll tracker this morning, Josh.
Oh, tell me more.
The AP poll tracker. There is one AP voter who has Nebraska at number 14 in the country this week. That same person, John Wilner of the, I think it's the San Jose Mercury News. Yes. He had Nebraska at 12 last week.
Whoa.
12. That's a playoff team, Josh. I don't know if you've heard this. 12 teams make the playoff now. But more and more of the deviation of Nebraska as far as the votes are concerned are in the top 25. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 idiots who don't have Nebraska in the top 25 at this point. We'll yell at all of them.
Imagine being that stupid.
We will spend a segment to tear down each of their careers during this show today.
I'm looking at a one of those graphs that tells you how good your team actually is analytically.
Okay. Which one?
This is from Bud Davis. This is opponent adjusted EPA per play.
Okay. Bud Davis.
J Bud Davis on Twitter. We'll retweet it from the Happer Show account here after I'm done yakking. Nebraska is in the wide swath in the middle of teams that have a good defense and a good offense.
Interesting. We'll talk about that idea as we go on throughout the shows. Looking at the SP Plus ratings today, Nebraska has, according to that metric, has a very, very good defense, and they have actually a pretty bad offense, which I don't know how you could really make that argument at this point in time, given what we've seen. But we'll get into all of that. I got the drive chart updated. In fact, I did this on Saturday night at Memorial Stadium, and Mike Schaefer came up to me afterwards, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I go, "Well, I'm working, Schaefer. I'm working. I'm updating my spreadsheets, getting stuff ready to go for Monday." He seemed confused. He's probably only ever seen me observing.
Okay.
I had to go in and get some stuff done on my computer. So we'll have that, and I'll tell you why the defense is in such a good spot this year. It is possible that Nebraska's offense might not be one of the best in the country, but it is doing its job at the moment. Why did you just do that?
You see that email that just came out? We can't talk about it until tomorrow.
Gotcha.
God, that says I went 9-1. It's interesting.
Huh.
I'm good at picking things.
Not this past week in our picks, by the way. I gained a couple games on you. I don't know if you've heard that.
Long season,
So
Connor.
Josh went 9-0 this week. Nick Grimm, you're in the company with Nick Grimm,
Don't love
the
that.
person who was apparently mad at fans for booing at the. What was this that I walked into this morning?
He
was up in.
No,
Okay.
he was. No, we can talk about it. It's fine.
Oh,
just don't take what he says seriously. Never been to a football game before or something like that.
I think that's actually right. Never been to a football game.
They were booing the refs while there was an injured player on the ground. Yes, your anger at the official trumps your sadness over the injured player. Just because you're used to seeing your quarterback laying in a heap with his hands spasming out of control as if independent from his body.
Hey.
That's what he's used to.
Yeah, it is.
So he thinks every time a player is on the ground, it's the end of their quality of life.
Yeah.
Not a simple, hey, I'd really just like to lie down on this ground for just like 30 more seconds, okay?
Just get a little, just get the tower buzzed real quick. That's all. Just get the bell rung a little bit. Answer the phone is what we always say. You know, guy gets hit in the head by something, and you always yell at him. You say, "Answer the phone." That's because your ears are literally ringing. But yeah, we'll talk later about Nick's first experience in a football game. John, Josh P, Connor, Nick H, all a very steady 7-3. Gary 6-4.
Ooh.
Jimmy 5-5.
Bad luck for Gary.
What does that mean for Jimmy then? 5-5. Woof.
Yeah, Jimmy tends to zag on some things.
Yep. All right, so I'm looking at the name of our winner right now, but I can't say it until tomorrow. But we do have a winner.
It exists.
And I will say this. The winner this week entered very early last week.
Oh.
Did you get that little nugget in there, Josh?
I did.
The winner from the first 4-quarter pick'em from last week entered very, very, very early last Monday. So that should tell you probably want to get in there like right now and then make all your picks correct, obviously, as well. All right. So we'll announce that tomorrow over social media. Be on the lookout for those things. We are off and running. Let's talk about Nebraska and Northern Iowa, and everything is bad. Nebraska stinks. I'm going to zag on that one. I don't know if that surprises you at all, Josh.
Yeah, I would.
I'm going to tell you why. Nebraska's defense is, their defensive performance on Saturday is nothing to be concerned about. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host point is good. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Our dear friend K Ford has his ratings up now.
Hi, K Ford.
Coming up from this past weekend. Kelly Ford, friend of the radio station known as 1620 The Zone. So he does it by the coolest thing I think that he has is it lays out the percentage chance to win X amount of games. He now has the greatest, how do I say this? The greatest percentage chance of games Nebraska has to win this year. Does that make sense? Their most, I should say this, their most likely outcome in terms of a win total.
That's right.
According to the K Ford index, with 30% of the simulations coming in, 8 wins. 8 wins.
Ocho.
This year for Nebraska. Skewing a little bit under that because 24% of it has 7 wins and 21% of it has 9 wins. Also in conference, 30% of the time Nebraska wins 5 games, 21% of the time they win 6, 24% they win 4. It's going to come down to these little things here and there, but Nebraska is now viewed in the public by the simulations, by the metrics, by the whatever, as a team that is going to be in the neighborhood of 7, 8, 9 wins. Now, Josh, I've long said this. One of those teams, one of those type of teams is going to make the playoff this year. They're going to make the playoff this year because they end up at the very, very high end. And they win all these close games. They win one-score games, and they do the right thing, like all that stuff. And their schedule lines up the right way. And instead of being the 7, 8, 9 win team, they end up being the 10-win team. And then they're going to make the playoff.
That's the path.
Nebraska's still in the running for that. 3-0 on the young season. So 34-3 was your final score on Saturday, and I immediately knew what the conversation was going to be about today after the first drive of the game for the Panthers. First of all, can we say how awesome this is for the Northern Iowa Panthers? How about a 16-play, 62-yard, 10-minute and 8-second field goal drive that started on their own 25-yard line after a kickoff and ended on the Nebraska 13-yard line. So many things happened in that drive.
That's their exact path to victory if you're UNI.
100%. We are going to sit on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for as much conversation as there is about what Nebraska didn't do on Saturday, once again, 34-3, there should be some conversation about what Northern Iowa did on that drive, and then a couple others. Like they extended a few more, but nothing as crazy as that. Their drive lengths, 10:08, 4:08, 5:01, and then one that ended the half, 5:07. They finally had like a 6-play no-yard drive punt, 4:55. So all their drives were long, right? They got a first down on all but one of their real drives in the game, and that was at the very, very end, or close to the very, very end. They almost scored there at the end. That would have been disappointing for Nebraska,
yeah,
obviously. But the second, third group came in and they got the job done. They stopped them near the goal line on that. I think now would be a terrific time to double and triple down on Nebraska's defense.
Triple down?
Yes.
Why would you say that, Connor?
Because I think their stock went down a little bit over the weekend.
A little bit.
Just according to the people.
Just the eye test wasn't as exciting, wasn't as flashy.
They didn't have that edge, but they didn't need it, and we knew that they weren't going to need it.
A little sleepy.
Yeah, and that's okay. And it's their stock came down really due to their own absurd standards. I have very little worry in what Nebraska is doing on the defensive side of the ball. It is when we get into conference play, and this week we do get into conference play, Nebraska will kind of pare down who they're playing a little bit more, and they'll ask more from the big guys like Ty Robinson and Nash Upmaker, and they'll ask more out of, kind of everybody. And you'll start to see less and less of the freshmen who haven't played before getting into games and stuff like that. Nebraska accomplished, I mean, they I don't know, would it be fair to say, Josh, that they wildly exceeded expectations during non-conference play? Is that too strong?
I think that's fair. I think that's okay.
I mean, they're outscoring opponents 102-20.
That's good.
102-20. I would repeat it. 102-20. They've allowed 20 points. They're allowing less than a touchdown a game so far this year. And I know they didn't play the best teams and whatever. I still think people are really, jumping over Colorado. I don't think that's a bad team. I could see it falling apart, but I don't think that's a bad team. And they had a nice game against Colorado State this past weekend. What Nebraska did to smother,
finished the game.
He did, and didn't shake hands with the other quarterback afterwards. What they did to smother that defense, everyone saw it. It was really impressive. They didn't get a first down until the second quarter. And so I tend to look at games like that a little bit more than I do than against Northern Iowa. I think the Panthers, credit them, came in with they were kind of a junk, it was sort of a junk game plan, right? It's the type of game plan that you have to have against a team that is wildly more talented than you are, and you're going to have to really suck all the air out of the game and then hopefully get fortunate with a couple turnovers. Nebraska only allowed the one. It was a great play by the defensive back to jump, over Jalen Lloyd and make that play and kind of, bring it in with his back. I mean, that was an impressive play down the field. Rhule said I should have led him a little bit farther. Lloyd maybe should have catches that, high pointed it, whatever it might have been. It's Dylan's first interception. It's generally meaningless because the game was out of reach. Nebraska was trying to take one shot and get some stuff done on the offensive side of the ball. And it was interesting to hear Rhule talk about it afterwards when he said, hey, some of these things that we were doing in that game, and especially keeping the starters in on offense as long as we did, it's more about making other teams watch more of us. Which it's cool to hear him say that. Like, that's obviously been true for a long time for any team that does that. But it's just like the more stuff we put on tape, the more people have to prepare for us. Yep. Like it's pretty. We're trying to waste their time, basically. And so it's all a game in that category. And Nebraska's trying to do a little bit of that on Saturday. Northern Iowa, they came in with the junk you up game plan, and they had a really nice first drive. I don't think Nebraska really adjusted to what they were doing until the second one. They still held to a field goal on that first drive, and that was literally the game.
But they made an adjustment.
They did.
And the adjustment worked.
A lot of the stuff they were doing was so, when Nebraska plays teams that are as talented as them or just slightly less talented than them or maybe even more talented than them, you'll see them just run it right at them. I don't think Northern Iowa was running it right at them. They were running it. They were having success running it, but it wasn't just like, hey, I'm going to block the guy in front of me and we're going to win and go. That they would have never gotten yards that way with all the twists and stunts and weird stuff that Nebraska does up front to get pressure and get free runners into the backfield. They had a really nice plan of, we are going to use Nebraska's defensive aggression against them. Did you see what their running backs would do? They would just sit behind a pulling guard or a tackle, and they would just sit. And then when they got a crease, they would go and they would take their 4 yards. Sit. Somebody's going to go by me. And so you guys noticed one of the things that was a conversation I know in the press box on Saturday night was, it's a little bit of a shoddy tackling performance. I just think they shot through some stuff in the run game and, out of there was a lot of misdirection. There was just a lot of stuff, eye candy moving stuff in different directions. They would roll their quarterback out. The quarterback wasn't very good, but he was a gamer, like that's what they had to do to win the game. And it's also what teams like that have to do to keep games close. Mission accomplished. Because if they get down 14-3 and then they start throwing it around the yard, they're going to throw 4 picks in the game. Like Nebraska, one of them is going to be a touchdown, and it's going to be 65-0. like or 65-7, whatever it is. Maybe they score another touchdown or two, but Nebraska's going to, because they absolutely had their way on the offensive side of the ball. And so I think that's one thing to remember, and Rhule stressed this after the game. Like, the game is the game, right? The game doesn't always have to be this referendum about who you are and what you do. Like, it's a data point in a full season, but I think more importantly, it's a game in a vacuum, right? We're going to do what we have to do to win this game. Not, we have to do this because we feel like it'll make us look better for the rest of the season. That's how fans look at it. And now we have 3 data points for the entire season, and I don't know what the reactions are afterwards. But it would be tough for me to say that I was surprised about the reaction during the game about Nebraska's defense or after the game about Nebraska's defense. But man, guys, like, it's going to be okay. When are we going to give that group the benefit of the doubt? When are we going to give that group the benefit of the doubt?
Ohio State. And even then, they're going to lose that game, most likely.
For the record, that was a rhetorical question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We should give them the benefit of the doubt right now.
I agree. They're good.
They are good. And they have a whole season of being good to prove it. And so when the tiny baby team comes in and starts junking them up for a little while, and all of a sudden they're getting run on by Northern Iowa, people are like, throw it away. Like, no, that's, I mean, we have in the post-game notes, we have a bunch of things about how good Nebraska's defense has been. It's the 9th opponent in 10 Matt Rhule era home games. They've allowed 14 points or less. 14 points or less. It was the 10th consecutive opponent Nebraska has held to 24 or fewer points, the longest such streak since a 14-game streak in 2009 and 2010. I think there was another. Okay. Nebraska held its 3rd straight opponent to open the season to 10 or fewer points. This is the first time Nebraska has held the first 3 opponents to 10 or fewer points since 2005. On the season, Nebraska's allowed 20 points, the fewest points in the first 3 games of a season since the 2005 season when they allowed 16. And the first time they allowed 30 points or less in the first 3 games of the season since 2009. I don't know if you remember that 2009 defense. They were okay. Nebraska didn't allow a touchdown in the first quarter, and it's allowed just 1 first-quarter touchdown in its past 10 games. Nebraska has not allowed an opening drive touchdown in 10 straight games. They've only allowed 1 opening touchdown drive in the last 16 games. Nebraska held its opponent for under 400 yards for the 10th game in a row on Saturday, marking its longest such streak since 2009. I say all this, and those notes are from Keith Bain and company over at Nebraska in the postgame notes junket. But like I say all this to put it in context. It's not like they've been doing this for a long time now. So if you had it in your head that Nebraska's defense is good, and that's been building and building and building over time, getting run on a little bit by Northern Iowa and still only allowing 3 points should not dissuade you in any other direction. Like it shouldn't be like, well, gosh, now I'm not so sure. Now I'm not so sure. Illinois is going to run all so now is a good time to double and triple down. I was admittedly wrong about Nebraska pitching a shutout on Saturday, Josh, but I'd say that 3 is pretty close.
Yeah.
They pitched a shutout from 5 minutes left in the first quarter onwards.
Mm-hmm.
So like and we know what Illinois is going to want to do to them. Like I think Nebraska's going to have a great day against them on Friday night. A great day in run defense against them on Friday night. Jeff writes in, he says,
"Hi Jeff.
My biggest takeaway is that UNI was actually pretty good, better than UTEP." Yeah, no, I don't think that. I don't like. This is not me saying that. I thought they had a good plan. That's all.
Yeah.
I thought they had a plan that led them to keeping the game close. As simple as that. I do not think they're good. I do not think they're the best opponent Nebraska's played this year. I do not think they're better than UTEP. I heard somebody say that after the game. I don't think they're better than UTEP either. I just thought they had a better plan than UTEP.
We've got to you got to flush the Pacific games out of your memory. Like it's not gonna look 70-0.
Oh, it could
each and every week.
Like, yeah, it doesn't have to. Like, it could. Nebraska could probably do that if it wanted to. I don't think it wants to.
Yeah.
In some areas, and I once again, they are a really good defense, and they're a defensive oriented program.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go up against a team that is very Big Ten-y in the way they go about their business, and they want to just chew the clock and try and not lose by 1,000 points. Like if that team was from the Sun Belt and they figured, all right, our way to win this game is to speed them up as much as we possibly can, throw it around the yard.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah, like if that was that type of team, Nebraska could have won that game 60 to 14.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it wasn't. That wasn't the type of team that you played. So I think it's important to remember each of the games are still the games. We always do this transitive property thing, like who's better than who, and you know who gave a fight to who's. Like, yeah, the game is the game. You have comparable opponents that you could like, but the game is the game.
Northern Illinois could not beat Texas A&M theoretically.
Is this what you're on today, Josh?
Well, no, you're using the transitive property. Well, Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame beat Texas A&M. So maybe Northern Illinois
is better than this. It's better than
Texas A&M.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's a stupid game to play.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
It's not real. It's fun.
It's not even fun. I think it's stupid. I think it's unhealthy. Like
it's absolutely unhealthy.
Okay, Illinois schedule. Kansas, Eastern Illinois and Central Michigan. Is that better than what Nebraska's done so far? Who cares?
Kansas, kind of stinky.
Yeah, they seemingly have a surprising quarterback issue.
Issues.
At this moment.
They don't let that guy do anything.
Like Nebraska's plan to win games is to play really great defense and have their quarterback not make mistakes. And if you're in a close game, have him make plays. Eventually, that's going to have to be a thing. They'll be in a close game. They'll have to ask him to make plays. They'll have to ask wide receivers to make plays. So far, they haven't had to do a whole lot of that. And the bottom line is when Nebraska gets into close games, I trust in their quarterback pretty much more than anybody else in this league at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good, guys. He's really, really good. We'll talk about that a little bit later on and where he stacks up just statistically right now through the 3 weeks of non-conference play. Oh, who are you playing? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody's playing nobody right now.
Yeah. I like where we're at and also hate where we're at. Why do we have to convince you that this team is good? They've shown you that they're good, but also kind of a fun place to be where we're not talking about the boneheaded play of the weekend that cost Nebraska the game.
That segment died.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist anymore. That's nice. We'll have more on, we could talk about the drive chart a little bit here in a second too, as I've updated that. Mike Schaefer will join us at the bottom of the hour. Matt Rhule, Monday press conference. Matt Rhule coming up at noon. The worst segment ever returns today. Sam McCuin, the Big Ten report card. Plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Curious to see what Matt Rhule says today about Mr. Mizuka. Mr. Mizuka didn't play on Saturday night. Not only did he not play, he wasn't there.
Well,
I was there, Josh.
These kids are busy.
Well,
no, you don't think that's it?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think he was kind of told not to be there.
Oh, interesting.
And Rhule touched briefly on it on Saturday night and said, "Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later." Just away from the team. It was quote from Rhule, still with us. Like, not like an alive or dead thing, but like he's still with the team.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask, do I need to flush the spelling of his last name from my memory? Because it's taking up a lot of valuable storage space.
No, I would still remember that. Also, there's another Mizuka on the team.
Oh God, there's two?
Yeah.
Did I do the wrong one? I'm sorry.
No, there's two Mizukas.
Okay.
One of them is a starter, the other one is not.
Now that's even more confusing for me.
Okay. Wait, what do you mean? Why are you confused, Josh? Micah, starting offensive lineman.
Which one is dead?
He's alive, but he was suspended for this week.
Well, we don't know that.
He was suspended. And Maurice, his brother, is alive and not suspended.
And thriving?
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Travis says, I thought Mizuka was just not suited up. I didn't realize he wasn't on the sideline at all. Yeah, he was not there. I can confirm that. He wasn't there.
Because you took a lap and noticed.
Exactly, Josh. I looked at things. I observed. I saw all the other offensive linemen come out. Teddy Prohaska, he's alive. Didn't suit up, didn't play, obviously, but he was there. He was at the game. Yeah, but Mizuka not in the building. Well, I guess I can't say for sure whether he was not in the building. He could have been in the sea of red, but he wasn't on the sideline. Curious to see what's said about that today with Matt Rhule. That'll be coming up in the noon hour. To the drive chart. Josh. All right, so we're just talking about Nebraska's defense. So let's flip the conversation over a little bit and explain it to you this way. Their offense is tremendously helping their defense right now. And let me explain to you why. Nebraska, and I did a tweet about this yesterday, so I'll read that first and then we'll dive into the numbers. Nebraska, their offense is scoring points at this rate through 3 games against competition on 50% of their drives.
That's half.
50%. Now, I think there's some numbers in there that where you'd like to see it a little bit better, like in the red zone, you're going to punch in some drives. Obviously, you don't want to be depending on field goals and stuff like that all the time, but 50% of their drives, they're scoring points. Last season, Nebraska's offense scored points on just under 26% of their drives. So they're doubling up, at least at this moment. Obviously, 3 compared to 12 sample size. Nebraska's not going to score, I don't think, on 50% of their drives this year unless they get a whole bunch of Northern Iowas where they just minimize the possessions of the game. And the Big Ten is kind of Northern Iowa-y. But I think the important part of what the offense is doing, I'm right on the edge of a sneeze, Josh. I don't like this. But
they only had 8 real drives in the game.
That is correct. And so, yeah, you pull up the drive chart from that. Nebraska went touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
Sexy. That's sexy.
Turnover on downs. That was the one before half. They should have probably got points on.
Less sexy, but
field goal, interception, touchdown. So 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals, a turnover, and a turnover on downs. In opponent territory, in 4-down territory, right? It wasn't like this, are we going to go for it in our own 30? It was in their territory. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk about the effect that the offense is having on Nebraska's defense. This is aiding an already good defense, right? I just got done explaining. Nebraska's defense was good last year. They have all these streaks of not allowing X amount of points, X amount of yards. It's been good ever since Tony White and Matt Rhule have been here. But now they get to really pin their ears back a little bit. Only 11 opponent offensive drives out of the 32 that they've faced this year have started past their own 25-yard line. So we're talking field position now, right? The more Nebraska is kicking off to their opponents after touchdowns or field goals, the better chance the defense has to succeed on whichever drive. There's only been one drive that has started past the 50-yard line against Nebraska's defense. That was the one where Jimmy Horn took back that punt all the way to the 40 or whatever it was in the Colorado game last week. And so the numbers will tell you, and looking at last year, when drives, like, it's not that hard to figure out. When you start, the closer you start drives to the end zone, the better chance you have to score, right? Nebraska's offense is putting its defense in a place where the opponents are almost always starting drives at the 25-yard line or less at this point. And so this is tremendously helping Nebraska's defense so far. When you look at what they've done, their average starting field position is 31.3. They're only averaging 6.5 plays per drive. 25.3. They're only averaging under 6 plays per drive, only 22 yards a drive. Like I said, 32 drives and 15 of them have ended in punts, basically half. 47% of Nebraska's defensive drives, they get punts. 8 of them have been 3-and-outs. They've only had 2 touchdowns scored on them the entire year. They've gotten 5 turnovers now. Only 2 field goals allowed. 1 missed field goal and 1 blocked field goal as well. So 4 drives that have ended in a field goal attempt. I mean, this is the formula. Somebody said earlier, like, hey, they're playing NFL style ball. It means just get up and, kind of just sit on it for a while. I would say yes, but it is all geared toward helping your defense. Keep in mind that everything Nebraska does is geared toward helping its defense. That's what you do, Josh, when you're a defensive-oriented program.
That's right.
So last year, I could take you through the numbers. They're probably confusing to sort of hear out loud. Last year, 47 opponent drives out of the 136, I think it was, started past the 35. We're talking about when Nebraska's on defense and the opponent's on offense. Does that make sense, Josh? Past the 35.
Okay, yeah.
That was about a third, I guess, of their drives. 21 of those 47 drives ended in points. Once again, it just illustrates the number. If Nebraska's offense is putting its defense in good position, and why do you think all those drives started at the plus 35 or more? Because Nebraska would fumble just by looking at a football. Oh, it's a football? Let's fumble it. Or let's throw an interception, right? That's not happening this year. They've fumbled once, they've thrown 1 interception, and I guess the first one was consequential, the second one really wasn't. That's it. So it's not about how the offense is, and we'll get into some SP plus and some statistical numbers a little bit later on the show, what the analytics think of Nebraska's offense. It doesn't need to be good. It does not need to be good. It can be good. It has a good quarterback. It has good receivers. It has good weapons. It has potentially a good running game. But all it has to do is not screw it up.
It has a touchdown on their first drive every game of the season so far.
That's good.
You're gonna like that if that continues.
Yeah. You get up and then you just sit on it for the rest of the game. All right. We will come back. Mike Schaefer will join us on the other side. We'll have more on those numbers and where Nebraska's at right now. Of course, coming up during today's show. Schaef's on the other side on 1620 The Zone.
Come the Guardians.
Yeah, I have statistics to back up that we have people that listen.
Mike Schaefer.
Anytime there's sort of a debate as to who can do something, Happer would always put his name forth, for sure.
Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I could be a star.
Let's have a chat with Mike Schaefer of Husker 247. Joins us now via the 42 Degrees Source hotline. Hi, Schaefer.
How are we doing?
We are doing good. How'd you end up in that pick'em?
3-3. My belief in the Rams and the Colts and the Chiefs did not come through.
Yeah, I tried to tell you.
You really did. I got to give you a lot of credit on that. You were all over the Cardinals. You said the Cardinals were going to dominate. They did indeed dominate. Perhaps on Friday, I will wave you over and we will look at the NFL slate, and you can contribute to my next set of picks. So
that's good.
I started 1-5 the first week, 2-4 the second week, and now I'm 3-3.
I probably wouldn't have had
the games as well.
Yeah,
I tend to just skip that.
I did.
I'm more of a NFL guy.
I did better. Sorry for interrupting you. I did better in college picks this weekend against Josh, who's been dominating me for much of the last 2 years. So I felt good about that.
I find college to be infuriating. Like I can't handle the really wide spreads. I feel like I don't know enough about these teams. So then it's like I'm talking myself into, oh yeah, Vanderbilt's definitely going to cover the 10.5 against Georgia State. Like I can't name one player from Vanderbilt, and what do you know? Georgia State won.
Classic. That's college, I guess. That's college for you. All right, Schaefer, has your message board calmed down yet?
No. I mean, in part because you have the people that were a little disappointed in what they saw on Saturday. Disappointed is probably not even the right word, but maybe they were hoping for more. So let down a little bit might be part of it. But then you have the other faction where people are just fired up about everything. So, I mean, it's not like there's a lot of upset, Matt Rhule isn't doing a good enough job. It's more of, man, what is it going to look like when we actually see this team play 4 quarters?
Yeah.
And then, people are like, hey, Nebraska's on the fringe of the college football playoff if they just do this, 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 and this. It's like the reverse of 2021, where they needed all these different plays to break their way. Now they just need to beat the teams that are in front of them. It's funny how that works.
It's funny how we spend all offseason and whatever, several years at a time talking about how they need to figure out how to play complementary football. And now they're doing it perfectly, like to a T. We just had a segment talking about how well they're doing at that right now. And it's like, well, I would have liked to win that game, 52-0 instead of 34-3. And it's a nitpick, and I guess it's fair, whatever. But I would explain to people, and Rhule explained it after the game. He was like, look, we play the games that we play, and each game has its own sort of formula. Nebraska's doing a really good job right now of playing the game that they're playing.
I don't think Rhule wants to say it like this because I don't know how well it would be received. But I think he is truly coaching and building this like an NFL operation. Yes. I mean, and what I mean by that is you get up by 2 or 3 scores in the second half in an NFL game. You're just salting that thing away. You're taking guys out. You're not letting anybody get risked with injury or anything like that. I mean, there's no value in style points in the NFL. And it doesn't, it still allows teams like the Saints to roll up the Cowboys as we saw on Sunday. But you aren't actively trying to win by any sort of measure because there's no voting. The wins are what matter. There's no committee. There's nothing. There's no one that you have to impress. There's not going to be anyone that's like, well, they only beat Northern Iowa by 31. Didn't allow them to hit their average of yards or any of this, or didn't allow them to score after the first possession of the game. So it doesn't matter. You just go get the win. And when you have kind of a thoroughly dominating start to all of these games, the way that Nebraska has, it kind of allows them to tinker and do some different stuff in the second half that isn't just, we're going to go score 35 points because we can. And I don't know that that's necessarily a great thing, but it just seems noticeable to me that there's not this emphasis of style points. because ultimately I think Rhule is determined it doesn't matter, and chasing it doesn't matter.
Well, I think the other thing that people need to remember too, Schaefer, it's been said out loud, many times at this program, is that it's a defensive oriented program. It's a defense first program. And so everything that you're doing on offense or on defense is done to try and put the defense in a good position to be able to win you the football game. Like if Nebraska had if there was a scenario where it was the choice whether they want to put their offense or defense out there, like to win them a game, like you want your defense in that position to be able to go and get them a stop. Not that the offense can't, and like that's what Nebraska is trying to get to the point where they could do. But like I don't know, I think it's so great for Nebraska that they have like this defense and a program that caters to it. But still, we get caught up in the style points at the end of it. It's odd.
Yeah, well, I think some of it is you have to adjust your mindset. I mean, if you think of it like Nebraska is basically going to try to bully everybody that plays in the division by the second half, they've accomplished that on a pretty grand scale. So it's if your frame of reference is the defense is so good that it never lets up even when the second, third, fourth team comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, that says as much about the program and what's happening in Lincoln as, beating Colorado by 35 instead of only beating them by 18.
No doubt. Mike Schaefer of Husker 247. Is there anything? Okay, so let's flip over to the offensive side of the ball then. Through the first 3 weeks of the season here, obviously there's the opponents that count into this thing as well. What do you think is a thing that is a development that is kind of popped up over these first 3 weeks that you did not expect or you're pleasantly surprised by?
I am surprised, and as this is weird because I was someone who's advocating how deep and how talented the wide receiver room is, but I have been pleasantly surprised by the fact that they can just go throw to 10 different, pass catchers throughout a game. Like they don't have to load any one guy up. There isn't the opposite of, it's almost like the opposite of the Mark Whipple thing where they don't have that one guy who's just going to have 75 receptions and 1,200 yards by the end of the year. And I don't know that that's necessarily good or bad. It just stands out to me that they feel so strongly about what they have that you can have a game where Ja'Cory Barney and Carter Nelson have more catches and are generally more impactful than, the Janiron Bonners or the Jamal Banks. But then you're going to have the game where Jamal Banks has 6 catches and 88. So it's just, I think the depth of what we're seeing at the wide receiver position, even though, again, I was someone who was, saying that's why I really like it, it has just stood out to me because it's amazing how quickly guys like Ja'Cory Barney and Carter Nelson already seem like they're good. Like they're already good. Ja'Cory Barney is already my favorite, most exciting player on offense, which was I predisposed to thinking that because I was excited about him when he was a recruit? Absolutely. But the fact is he's backed it up. And people would be lying to you if they didn't tell you they get more excited to see the ball in that kid's hand than just about anybody else on offense as soon as it leaves Dylan Raiola.
Do you like the nickname the Rubber Boy, by the way?
I think you know how I feel about most of your nicknames.
What? I think it's great. He's made of rubber. He just bounces back every time he gets smoked, including when he walks into the end zone. He gets crushed. He just pops right back up. He's made of rubber.
So why wouldn't he just be the Teflon man?
Teflon, it's not as cool. Rubber.
Maybe the Boomerang Kid.
That might be.
If we're going to go for these sort of, weird comic booky sounding names, I think the Boomerang Kid has something going for it.
Yeah, that might not be bad. I still like the Rubber Boy.
Okay.
I'm the nickname maker around here. You just have to tell me whether they're good or not.
I don't try to assign nicknames. I just decide whether I would actually say that out loud or not.
That's fine.
For instance, there was a basketball player, named Thor in Lincoln, and you really tried to get that one going, and I just I didn't partake.
He was really good at backdoor cuts.
Yeah, I didn't want to refer to him by that moniker.
I understand. Not all are willing to go out on the on the ledge. Okay, so on the topic, not of the Rubber Boy, but of Barney, Nelson, these guys getting involved so early in their careers and them having success. I was having this discussion with somebody else, over the last couple of days. I think I don't know if you'd agree with this, Schaefer, but like Nebraska's had more talented classes that they've brought in. It's just it feels like the difference here is that they now have this kind of, appropriate setting to ease these young players into action, not put too much on their shoulders, and then they're thriving because of it. Like, I think it speaks more to Nebraska's development and their operation than it does their talent, which is we know is really good. They're really highly recruited players, but I just think it speaks more to what Nebraska's kind of doing from a player personnel standpoint that has allowed them to have success early.
Well, I think it also cuts against what was some of the hallmarks of the Bo Pelini, Scott Frost downfall, which was, oh yeah, that young kid can't play for me. He doesn't know, he can't do this or he can't do that. Or, and then I look at Carter Nelson as a great example of that. He is definitely not capable of playing tight end in a Big Ten football game. But a coach that thinks, well, how can I use him?
Yep.
And not, well, let's just throw a red shirt on him and see what he looks like after strength and conditioning, and he can be helpful on our scout team. But a coach that says, well, how can I use him, arrives at the idea that maybe this once-in-a-generation level athlete that can jump out of the gym and can run as fast as any defensive back that also happens to be over 6'5". What if we try him out as a slot wide receiver? I am fascinated when we get into Big Ten play. If they put Carter Nelson out there, how do you choose to defend him if you're the defense? Because you have everything else. Because you can line him up next to Jalen Lloyd. You can line up, you have all these other things. But then you have this kid that can run as fast as your defensive back, is taller than everyone but your defensive lineman, and can also go up for the ball. And this isn't to say that he's going to have some monster season. It's to say that they recognize he has the ability to help them now in a very specific way. Yep. So why would he be sitting on the bench collecting dust?
And
why would Ja'Cory Barney have to wait for his opportunity instead of finding certain plays and packages in which you can utilize his ability to run all over the field and to be difficult to tackle? I mean, we saw this with the previous regime, and I don't like to look back, so I'm going to try to just stop it at that. But they had a tough time getting young guys on the field, and the comment was always, well, they've got to know what they're doing, or they've got to do this. Nebraska right now feels like it is saying to recruits that are listening out there, look, you come to Nebraska, we'll figure out how you can help us today, and we're going to make you better for tomorrow. It's a total spin on the narrative, and yet one of them sounds a hell of a lot better than, hey, if you come here in 2 years, you could be the guy.
Barney literally said that after the game. He was like, I'm playing, it wasn't like they told him he was going to be a starter or anything like that, but it was like, hey, we're going to find an opportunity for you to do something for us. And they have, and it's really worked. Like, he's an important piece to it's just really, it's one thing after the other. Rhule even said it on Saturday night with Nelson. He said, we're giving him one task at a time, and we're just going to go from there. And he seems to be mastering the things that they're giving him right now.
Which is great, because then at some point you can make the determination, okay, like, what path do we want to go forward? There's a future for Carter Nelson where he's never a hand in the dirt in line tight end at Nebraska. And I think that's completely okay, because his skill set might dictate that you can utilize him in a way that teams are going to have a really tough time matching up with. And you can learn that stuff early in his career without having to just try to put him in a box right away and be like, all right, this is what we want you to be in 2025, 2026. Instead, you're deriving value from him right now. And I think that's also important in the transfer portal era, because you don't know how long you're going to have any of these players.
Yep.
So you kind of need to see who they are quickly. And I think, again, that's one of the beauties of how Nebraska's first 3 games have played out. You've been able to get second, third, fourth team guys in, so you can get a look at them. You can kind of know what you have there. And maybe Vincent Shavers isn't quite ready for primetime yet, but he benefited as much as anybody getting to play against Northern Iowa on Saturday because of what he might be able to do for you in conference play when you have to call his number because of an injury he has had.
Absolutely. Mike Schaefer, Husker 247. Okay, Schaefer, thanks as always. Appreciate it. And I'll get you some NFL picks on Friday.
All right, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to if you still do your tiers thing on Tuesday, where the Vikings are going to fall. This is a tricky one for you. I don't think you probably believe in them.
You had them. You had that one pinned though. You were nails on that one.
I didn't even talk to you about it because I figured you wouldn't even try to talk me out of it. And I just 49ers haven't won in Minnesota since 1992, and everything lined up perfectly for that game.
Yep. You're right. I was not going to talk you out of it. I wouldn't have tried.
Yep. Beautiful stuff. All right. We'll talk Friday.
See you later. That's Mike Schaefer of Husker 247. We got to put brains together on NFL picks.
Collab on these things. It's okay.
It is. It's nice. It's nice to have two brains working together. Sometimes they're both dumb, though, and that's when it's bad. All right. We got to take a quick time out here. One more quick segment before Matt Rhule steps up for his Monday press conference. Straw poll. Should we do the odd news or should we just talk about Nebraska football or something else for five? Or the Chiefs, maybe.
It is ready if you want it. All three stories are sports.
Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe we'll do that then.
Okay.
All right. That sounds good. Next on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, let's get a quick odd sports news.
Odd sports news.
Here with the host of today's show, Josh Hodson. Hi, Josh.
Hi. Normalize puking at work. Something I've done.
Oh, is this about the guy who puked on the ball?
Yeah. The Green Bay Packers overcame the Week 1 injury to starting quarterback Jordan Love in their Week 2 matchup against the Colts yesterday. That doesn't mean everything went exactly to plan for starting center Josh Myers. Josh puking at work. In the second quarter, Malik Willis opted to scramble instead of attempting a pass on 3rd and 10 near midfield, which was not the play call. After the game, Matt LaFleur, hey, what was up with that? I asked Malik why he didn't throw the ball on that 3rd down, and he told me that Josh threw up on the ball, and I was like, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Clearly, from the video, have you seen the video?
I have actually not seen the video.
He definitely did puke on the ball, like right before he snapped it. Pretty funny.
The
offensive lineman, gross.
Sean Hockley came over to LaFleur during the sequence of events and said, we saw your center throwing up on the ball. Do you want us to take him out next time he does that? To which Matt LaFleur responded, yes, absolutely. Please do that.
Yeah, geez. I mean, that's a great option to have. As he was just about to snap it, you could have they would have just blown the play dead. That would have been a great advantage for Green Bay. Then they wouldn't have had to just run it with Malik Willis on a weird 3rd down.
Which is a terrible option. Terrible option, running it with Malik Willis.
Now, it's the better of the two options out of running and throwing for Mr. Malik.
Just slinging that vomit everywhere if he throws it.
Gross.
Many Iowa fans are up in arms over the FS1 broadcast of their game against Troy over the weekend. Troy, new coaching staff this year, so they got a new coach, Pat Summerall. Is that his name?
Pat Summerall?
Not Pat Summerall. Summerall.
He's who? He's what now?
Troy Summerall. I guess his name. Troy Summerall. No, that cannot be his name. Who's the coach of Troy?
Josh, you did this. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's not the. Whatever.
Gerard Parker?
Sure. Whatever.
Jared Parker, the former interim coach at Purdue?
John Summerall was their coach. He went to Tulane. Okay, I can read. I'm trying to do it quick here because I got Matt Rhule coming up.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
They misidentified the coach in the graphic.
Okay.
And later on in the show, they went to break and they had a nice big Troy logo, Troy Trojans, Iowa Hawkeyes. Only it said Iowa State Hawkeyes. Iowa State famously the
Not
Cyclones,
Iowa.
and they were also not playing Troy over the weekend.
That's tough.
Yeah.
You'd like to have people who are making those graphics who know about the sports, but sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you just have to have graphic makers.
As I just exampled for all of you. And then finally, heavy symbolism in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
After Florida State's 3rd loss of the year.
They're bad.
They are an unwatchable football product. And in the post-game press conference,
I think they're very watchable.
Well,
I enjoy it.
It is like watching a car wreck. The fire alarm was going off during Mike Norvell's post-game press conference. And you can clearly hear behind him on the speakers an announcement of some kind saying, please evacuate the facility, which very symbolic after losing to Georgia Tech,
Boston College,
that was the other one, and Memphis, 20-12. And I watched that game; it wasn't even that close.
They do some really dumb stuff during their football games.
They do.
It's a lot of fun to watch.
Either they don't let DJU do anything, or when he does do something, his receivers drop the football.
All right, so you tell me. Let's just do this quickly.
Okay.
0-3. Here comes your next 3. Cal. Cal might be good.
Yeah.
At SMU, Clemson. Bye week. At Duke. At Miami. North Carolina. At Notre Dame. Bye week. Charleston Southern, Florida. Can the
They will beat
Seminoles
Florida.
win 3 this year? Can they go 3-9?
I'm just going
That
to
is
say
my challenge to you.
Probably. They'll probably find 3. I don't know which 3. I know one of them will be Florida.
Well, they might play well for their interim coach. Because they're definitely going to have an interim coach.
Definitely.
Florida State, by the way, 2.5-point favorites against Cal this week. I'm not sure why.
Florida State, the only Power 4 team without a win.
That's not good. Now they've played mostly good competition.
Yes.
Mostly good competition.
However, they were expected to do great things.
Yeah. Tough. All right. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's the Odd Sports News. Back with Matt Rhule's Monday press conference, where he talks about many things. I wonder what he'll get on his soapbox about today. I'm curious. Coming back on 1620 The Zone. The Big Ten Conference would like you to know about some TBDs for next week's college football season.
Ooh.
Not this coming weekend, but next. So earlier last week, NBC sent out a release that said it was going to have the Nebraska-Purdue game, and then it was re-released and Nebraska-Purdue was taken off.
Whoops.
The Big Ten Conference has just released all of the games that they're going to have next weekend. Once again, we're talking about for week 5 here. Nebraska-Purdue will be at 11 o'clock in the morning in West Lafayette. The network is still to be determined. So we are in the 6-day windows already. We will know the television network not until next Monday or next Sunday. This coming Sunday.
But it's absolutely going to be Peacock.
So do they not? Well, okay. So Do they have to have a big? So Big Noon. Oh my God, I don't know what Big Noon is going to be this week.
Maybe just punt on
or that week, because the night game on Big Fox is Washington and Rutgers. That's at 7 p.m.
Sexy.
The other games that are in the maybe I don't know what's going to happen here window are West Coast game, Wisconsin at USC. Not going to probably try and play that at 11. That'd be 9 a.m. Eastern. Oregon, UCLA, or I'm sorry, 9 a.m. Pacific. So you don't want to do that. You want to take them out. Do you go to Minnesota, Michigan? And the other option for Big Noon is Nebraska, Purdue. Boy. I guess it's just Minnesota, Michigan, right?
What network is committed to Illinois, Penn State?
They have announced that will not be a morning game.
Okay.
That will not be an 11 a.m. game.
Okay.
It will either be night game or mid-afternoon. No, it will be a night game. It will actually be a night. It will be 6:30 or 6 on some network. Probably NBC, I guess. I don't know. A lot up in the air for next week on TV, but pretty weak Big Ten slate. All right, waiting for Matt Rhule to pop up at his Monday press conference. Actually, it appears as if he is talking right now. We just need to find that old stream.
All right.
So we'll get there. Here's what he is saying.
Oh, man.
Mike Mizuka won't play this week. He's not hurt. He's still with the team, but he's working through some things, according to the football coach. Well, this really throws off our whole show if this stream doesn't go. If there is no stream. Josh, have we found it on YouTube or anything like that?
I see nothing on YouTube. We're going to look at X.
X? Is it on X?
We're looking. We're efforting it.
All right. Yeah, apparently they haven't sent anything out yet. All right.
Maybe they're on to us.
Well, he's talking about maybe. Do we have to go back to the days where we send somebody there?
Ooh. Nick will love it.
Nick could ask questions. Why did your fans boo
the injured player?
The injured Panther man. I did not like that. John emails in.
Hi, John.
On Nebraska Purdue. He says, I thought Nebraska Purdue was already slated for Peacock. Not according to the Big Ten's schedule that they just put out. Once again, this is from the conference. It is not slated for anything except for an 11 a.m. kickoff at this very moment. We know that Nebraska will play this week on Big Fox at 7 o'clock on Friday at Memorial Stadium. We don't know what network they'll be on next week against the Boilermakers. Matt Rhule still talking. Just we're not able to hear it
or see it.
Do I need to call somebody and tell them to put their phone up there on the podium?
Well, don't call Sipple.
His phone's probably on airplane mode right now.
Yeah, I'm really not seeing this here anywhere.
This is offensive to me, actually.
I'm seeing a lot of Ohio State, Michigan State will kick off at 7 on Peacock.
That's not next week, though.
Right. That's the 28th.
That's this. No, that is next week. The 28th is next week.
Yeah.
Ohio State and who?
Michigan State.
Gotcha. Yes. That was in the schedule. That's a 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock Central Peacock kickoff. But a lot we don't know for next week's Big Ten schedule. All right. So I'm not sure what to do here, Josh. Do we just go on with about our lives at this point?
I guess, yeah, we do show.
I guess we don't. We do not have the Monday press conference.
When they post the link, we'll do it.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
that's in theory if they post the link.
Yeah.
The Nebernoy kid keeps popping up on my timeline, Josh.
He's everywhere. I'm sick
Thoughts?
of this kid.
Thoughts? You're out?
I'm out. Just everyone making the same, like, lame sort of half joke, like, oh, big week for this kid.
It is. It is. It's a big week for Nebernoy kid.
Yeah.
Now, how long ago was that game, and where is this kid?
I don't know.
Has anybody bothered to contact the Nebernoy kid since then? Is it the same kid who was making those sexually suggestive faces at the College World Series that one year?
They do look alike.
They kind of do. Is that Big Al?
He hits dingers.
Oh, Big Al hit dingers. All right.
Travis says, I hated that kid now. I hated him then and I hate him now.
Why do we hate? We don't have to hate the Nebernoy kid.
He's a child.
Yeah. We what's up with hate? We don't have to hate the Nebernoy kid. Jeez. By the way, so we were talking about, and once again, if you find Rhule talking,
I'm literally just gonna go, I got him.
Yeah, just interrupt me and we'll go right out there. I don't know if they forgot today. I'm not sure if somebody's having a day off or what's going on.
We
currently do not have access to the press conference.
We normally just hijack it off of YouTube.
We do. We absolutely do. We'll admit that.
For you, the audience.
But we don't have our stringer out there today, so we can't get. We don't have access to it. Sean writes in, didn't Gary or the afternoon show have the Nebernoy kid on a few years ago? I don't. You know what? That kind of
rings a faint bell.
Yeah.
I do feel like Gary would love that kid.
Yeah, he would. He would definitely have a long, extended conversation with him. By the way, Hokey Scare says amateur hour on 1620 The Zone. Star Wars Fiend says 1620 The Zone has been blocked. Nobody has access to this.
Not on me.
Only the people who are at the press conference are watching this. This is like a live exclusive. You don't get these very much these days. We'll have to watch it later on tape delay.
Ooh, like Magic and Bird the first time.
like NBA playoff games once upon a time, for sure. All right, so we'll make sure we do that. So I was looking at the SP Plus ratings for this week and what they think of our dearly beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers. They come in at number 24. But get this. According to the SP Plus, Nebraska has the third best defense in the country. The number 3 defense in the country, only behind Iowa and Ohio State. Ohio State 1, Iowa 2.
Minnesota has back-to-back shutouts.
Doesn't matter.
Not on.
They gave up. They must have given up enough points to North Carolina where they don't believe in them enough. 12th, by the way, are the Gophers.
Sad.
Nebraska, the third rated defense in the country according to SP Plus. But here's the point: they're the 91st rated offense, and they are the 115th rated special teams. Now, that one, I guess I could buy a little bit, right? So, once again, I think Nebraska's, I don't think that their offense is the 91st best offense in the country, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if people look at that and they say, oh, well, Nebraska doesn't have a very good offense. Because once again, think about the bar that we're setting here. Think about the bar from last year. Not only Nebraska's offense was horrible and putrid a year ago, but on top of that, it would also supply the gun needed to shoot its own foot off 1,000% of the time, right? It was like, here you go. Why don't you take this? Safety's off, go to town. And they did. They were happy to. And so it was statistically bad, but it was also, I mean, it turned the ball over way too many times. That's the point here. What Nebraska's offense is not doing right now, it's not turning the football over. And to be clear, I don't think that Nebraska's offense is bad. I don't think it's statistically bad either, but it's having trouble, according to some of these analytics, shedding the reputation a little bit from last year. There's not enough data on Dylan Rhule yet, but we can all see it with our eyes. This is where I'm going to say it, Josh. I mean, that guy, I don't know. How do I say this? I don't think that I would take anybody else in the league
Over Dylon?
Yeah.
Now,
Like if Nebraska's if Nebraska's quarterback was Dylan Gabriel, how much better would it be right now?
well, you'd have like a much higher completion percentage.
I don't think that's true.
Dylan Gabriel's never thrown an incompletion.
Yeah, his
something,
completion
or something like that.
His completion percentage in Oregon is 86 or whatever it is right now. But Josh, you don't think Dylan Rhule could do that at Oregon?
I definitely think he could.
If you did it, would Nebraska's offense be in a better place right now if Dylan Gabriel was their quarterback instead of Dylan Rhule? If they traded Dylon for Dillon. Dylan Gabriel is a Dillon, right? Yes.
Yes.
D-I-L-O-N. We have a Dylon here. You never give me access to be able to do these types of things.
Dylon.
Sorry. I don't think it would be.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be. And that's the best quarterback in the league, right? If you traded Will Howard for Dylan Rhule, would Nebraska's offense be better if it had Will Howard right now? Would Nebraska's offense be better if it had any other quarterback in the league?
Washington still would have ran that option to the short side and failed
Right.
with Dylan Rhule there.
I just don't like oh look, Rhule. Oh, good heads up here from Ben on Twitter.
Ben.
He's live on the BTN. So
What?
let me see if I can turn on the BTN and we can take it from the TV.
Are they going like
Turn the TV on, Josh. Turn the tiny TV on, Josh. All right, let's see if we can get this. We can work our way around this. Maybe we can make this work for you all. But the point being, there are very few players in the league who I would just trust. There he is right now. Let's go. Let's see if we can get him, Josh. Pull him up. Woo! Let's go!
Drive. We hit some screens to Billy Kemp that were led to some big plays. Ran Heinrich as you said. They've altered a lot of what they're doing. Right, they're a different defense than they were. Aaron Henry's their defensive coordinator, who I've known a long time. He's doing a great job of putting his imprint on it. They'll show man and play cover 2. They'll show man and play zone. So they're playing some 4 down as well as the bear that they've been in. So it's not like playing them last year where you're coming in, it's all going to be bear man to man. Hey, we got to win versus man. You got to be ready for man zone with a young quarterback. He's got to recognize, because they don't show it to you. He's got to recognize the zone on the snap, and they're taking the ball away at a really high level. And some of those, besides their guys just making great plays. I mean, they got some great players on defense. Some of it though is also them doing a great job disguising, and the guy throwing a man beater into his own coverage and then picking it off. So we have a lot to get done there. And then, to your point, we're a different team though than we were last year. Last year, we keep track of yards after contact. Last year we only had 71 yards after contact in this game, which is about as poor as you could ever be. But we had a lot of explosive plays that kind of made up for it. And then we had a bad fourth quarter. We started turning the ball over. So you can't turn the ball over versus them. I think they're +8 on the year right now. They've got 9 takeaways. They're protecting the ball.
How would you sum up the O-line so far? I think they've only allowed 1 sack, but just overall, what's your sort of view 3 games in?
We don't know anything about really those guys until we play in the Big Ten. They've done a really good job versus who we played against. There's always the areas that we're always trying to work at, but this will be such a different challenge facing these guys. The pass, they have huge guys inside. They have excellent pass rushers on the outside, 9, 17, 3. Now they're playing 17 and 3 together. This is, they create 5 1-on-1, so everyone's got to win. If one guy loses, you struggle. So, but yeah, I've been pleased with our offensive line. I think they've done a really nice job. I mean, I think anytime you don't punt in the game, you probably feel pretty good. So I felt pretty good about what we did on Saturday offensively, but that was all preseason to me. Now the season starts. It's the first game for us in the Big Ten, and we'll find out where we are.
Hey, Coach, this is a 400th consecutive sellout. Have you given some thought on just the historical meaning of what this night will mean for Nebraska having the 400th sellout here?
To be quite honest, I haven't. I certainly understand the gravity of it. I think the one thing that's really easy for me and great for me to explain to recruits, the first thing we do when recruits show up here on their official visit is we don't go do some fancy thing. We take a picture with them and then we walk them right out into the field and we show them hey, here's the number of sellouts in a row, and here's the All-Americans. And then we talk about the field and how our hope someday is that they win a championship on that field, but also that they graduate on that field. And how the University of Nebraska is not a football factory. It's a place of development. And that's a proof of it, that you can sell out for 400 straight games and you can lead the country in academic All-Americans. Now they've changed some of the parameters and they're giving some weight to other people, but we've been the leader in that for a long time. So it's just a perfect blend of everything, right? And it's what drew me here. It's what draws other people here. So I think getting to 400 will be great. My job, though, is to make sure that we win that game so that people leave happy about it, not anything else. So I'm just trying to stick to football.
Do you expect Jamari Butler to be there?
I do, yeah. Jamari could have played Friday night. I think that was more of a got Cam in there. We liked the way Cam was playing, got Kai in there, and just thought, you know what, we were in control of the game. Let's push him to this week and get him a little bit healthier for this Friday night game. You play on a short week. We probably put some of the twos in earlier than I normally would in that game, which was actually really beneficial. They got a chance to play, even on that fourth down, fighting to keep them out of the end zone. I think that was really good for us. So Jamari should be way more healthier this week.
You talked about preseason, preseason being over. Hey, given your experience in the NFL too, you approach it the same way, obviously game week, but could you talk about the heightened stakes now that it's league play?
Yeah. So, you think about it very simply. Our goal is to go 1-0 every week. Now that we're over with it, though, when you look back on it in hindsight, you went 1-0 in non-conference play, which is what we're supposed to do. Good teams do what they're supposed to do. But now we start the Big Ten, and we're trying to compete to win the Big Ten. That's why we're in it, right? So, all of these games matter. All these games are important. And so this is a great opportunity. It's our first league game. And so, yeah, we didn't certainly approach the preseason like the preseason. But to me, it's just, hey, now we're entering Big Ten play. So our approach doesn't change, but just the gravity of the situation is a little bit different.
You guys have played in terms of your physicality, not only in the games, but in practice. As you go into Big Ten's a physical league, how do you feel like you guys are doing physically?
I think we're doing fine physically. I think defensively, I think if you asked everyone on defense, they didn't like the tackling the other night. Our yards after contact, which has been in the 80s, the first two games was 180. So it was 100 yards more than it had been. So I think that was something that, really kind of bothered us. Even at halftime, I was very calm and stoic at halftime. I was like, hey, you're going to win the game. What's bothering you guys right now, which is a really great thing. I'm so happy that it bothers us. We're not just happy to win. Now we're starting to play to a standard and understand, when we're not playing to a standard, it really bothers us. So, giving up a long drive and giving up 3 points in the first drive really bothered them. And that means that our guys are maturing, and they're not just playing, they're not just playing to, for the result. They're playing for the way that they play. So, so physically, that was a game we went out and we decided we were going to throw it more than run it early on, and then hope to run it more in the second half and have a lead. As I told our team, we needed the defense to play better to run the ball more. We needed more than 45 plays. I think you asked that the other night, right, or whatever it was. So, but I think we're a pretty physical team. We'll find out this Friday night. This is a really physical team. You look at their stats; they're about like us in every category. So we're playing a mirror image of ourselves.
You've had 3 games that have been in hand at halftime. Is it more important in practice during the week to create some of the situational stuff? And how do you mix that in during the season? I know, scrimmages in August, you can do that. How do you do that in a week like this?
It's really hard. We really have to focus on Thursdays on hey, here's our 2-minute. We have a lot of different situations that we call. We have rally, 2-minute, 4-minute last shot. We have all these things that maybe don't make sense to other people, but make sense to our guys. So we have to do them a little bit more. At the end of the half, we were moving in 2-minute, and we moved from last shot into what we call attack because we got the first down, and 4th and 3, the analytics say to go for that, right? In a game like that, maybe you kick that field goal because you can go up 24-3. But to me, we have to convert crucial plays if we want to be a great team. Great teams make great plays, and so that was a great opportunity to give that play to Dylan give that play to the fellas and say, all right, now go execute, and we didn't execute that one. Right. And so sometimes when you don't execute, you learn more than when you do execute. So I think everything we do is very intentional. And again, we were pretty certain we were going to win the game and pretty certain that, we were in control of the game. I would never do anything to hurt that. But, when it's borderline there, I think creating those scenarios are important. So, yeah, I think that those are good things. And then the other thing that we're now realizing, okay, is, and, this Friday night, obviously it's a ranked team, so it'll be maybe different, but we're no longer like the hunter. Like we're no longer like the unranked team that people are like, who do we have this? Oh, we're playing Nebraska. Oh, okay. We beat them the last 4 years. Now you're the team that your people are preparing for, the UNI players who I had a lot of respect for. I mean, I thought that quarterback was a dude. I liked him too, was a dude. After the game, they talked about, hey, we talked about this game all summer long. And our guys have to understand that, like, when then you start putting numbers in front of your name, right? People start saying, oh, we want to go beat a ranked team, So it's not quite your question, but I just do think our guys understand you're going to see different things. So all of a sudden we come out against these last week and they're bringing 0 in the red zone. It's like, okay, well, they got us on one. Now we need to kick a field goal. That could cost us a game at some point, right? So we have to be better in those areas. And so we're having to do a lot more situational stuff, to your point, Mitch, because we haven't been in, haven't had to go down there at the end.
Ty Wallen has gotten on the field quite a bit these last 3 weeks. What have you seen from him to earn that playing time so far?
Yeah, Kai's the guy that could have played for us last year. We redshirted him because we're trying to build a championship caliber roster, and so sometimes we do things that are difficult to do in the moment, but pay off in the long run. And Kai and James were 2 of those decisions last year that we redshirted last year. And I appreciate the confidence like Kai and his family had in us to do that because he was playing pretty well when we sat him. But now he's out there. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's 260 pounds, and he's playing better than he would have played if, he played last year. So he's rugged. He's physical. He can play. He can go inside and play a 3 technique. He can play outside as a 5. He's getting good pass rush. So he's a guy that you can put in there and mix in with the 2s, mix in with the 1s, and know that the level of play is not going to drop off.
Riley then Popple a 4-game guy, or is he going to play the whole season?
Yeah, Riley will be a 4-game guy.
How do you communicate that to somebody when they played again most of all last year?
Hey, you can play 8 plays to 10 plays a game this year, or you can be Ty Robinson and those guys when they leave. And so that's a decision they make. Again, it's a credit to Riley. It's a credit to his family. And Riley was joking with me yesterday. He was like, hey, when they went down the field on that first drive, I was waiting for you to say, forget it, get in there. But I just think it's trust, right? In an era where I go to a lot of meetings, you hear a lot of coaches say like, these kids are going to transfer anyway, play them. Just because the system's changed doesn't mean a coach should change. Coaches are here. We're here to do what's right for the players. And so, Riley can certainly help us. We have other guys we think can help us, and we think Sue is going to come back and be healthy here soon. And, we're going to, if we can, and we have 2 more games with Riley. So, but I think Riley's going to be a great, great, great player here. And I think this year, because he stepped in for us last year, this year of development, he's on the scout team now. Just think of how much better our scout team is when we're out there today and we're having to block him. And then we got Brody Tagaloa back. I should make sure. I'm so happy for Brody, for him to get on the field this past Saturday was such a monumental thing. I've watched him, I've watched him in the weight room in the mornings at 6 a.m. for the last 2 years. And I think back to when he got hurt, his dad and mom coming in and his dad saying to him, sometimes in life you have to embrace the delay. And I wrote that down. I said, what a beautiful thing. And Brody's just grown in the interim. So we have some guys back now, Sam, that allow us maybe with Riley.
Coach, you mentioned Ty Robinson. He could have left 1, maybe even 2 years ago. But what does that say that he had trust in you to come back for this year?
Yeah, I mean, I told him to leave, so he didn't trust me too much. Because I said you should go get some money. I just think the world of him. Honestly, I just think the absolute world of him. Guys like Ty Robinson are why guys like me coach. Just that daily interaction, the daily relationship. And the great thing about Ty is he lets me be me. I'm sarcastic and snarky out there on the field. I'm taking shots and da-da-da. And like guys like Bear and him, like, I teased Bear the whole week against Colorado that, we weren't going to need him that week because it wasn't a run game. It was going to be a pass rush game. He got a sack and he's like yelling at me from the field. Like, that's why I do this. I don't do it for any other reason. I love watching those guys. And so Ty's bringing that group along too. Ty's bringing that group along. And what I love is when they leave, their legacy will be here. And Ty talks a lot about the guys who were here before him. So it wasn't like there wasn't great leadership in the D-line room before that. Coach Dawson, all those guys did a great job. Ty talks a lot about that. But Ty, Jamari, Nash, I can't imagine a better group. And next year when it's Cam and Riley and those guys, I don't think we'll skip a beat.
Did you see him take out Potenza?
Yeah. So after we beat Colorado, Jordan sent that out, like just the video of it on, like, we have a whole staff group chat. It's like 100 people. And I put it on my family group chat, and my 9-year-old, my 11-year-old, they thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Julia thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So I saw on Twitter, them shaking hands now. So that's, we can have fun without being silly. Right. So I like that they're having some fun, but no one practices harder than Ty. He comes to practice every day like it's a game. And so it makes it fun to coach.
What'd you think of Twiggy and long snapping?
I thought it was great. Yeah, it was great. He was going to do the short snaps. Cam was going to do the deep snaps. Again, we didn't punt, so we didn't need that. But I thought he put the ball in his hand, and our field goal operation is still a work in progress. We made a couple short ones. We're still a work in progress, and for us to be the team we want to be, it's going to have to continue to improve. And so each week's just taking another step. Our protection was better. Our snaps were better. Now we're going to do what we want to do. You have to hit a 57-yarder to win it, like Alex Henry did whatever years ago, right? Those kind of moments happen, and so building up to that is important for us. It could be this Friday.
Are there some advantages to be home on a short week, just to have that extra time without having to travel, already losing a day?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think especially on a night game, just the fact we can come over here and use the facility and all that stuff is great. That being said, last year we went there, and we were emotionally, physically, and mentally ready. There's 3 levels of ready you have to be. You have to be physically ready, you have to be mentally ready, you have to be emotionally ready. Last week we were physically and mentally ready. I don't know if our defense was emotionally ready. And that's hard to do. That's why teams don't go undefeated very often unless they're way more talented. It's just very hard to win every game. I thought our offense was definitely emotionally ready, right? But last year when we went to this game, we were all 3, right? And they were a really good team. There's nothing was going to stop us, or so can we? While I'm happy we're at home, it's really about those 3 things. Or are we going to be ready to play on Friday night, or is it going to be about all this other stuff? This is going to be an absolute battle. They're a really, really good team, and it's why in preseason when people start asking about the schedule's easy early, is it? I mean, I'm looking at power rankings now, and we have one of the hardest schedules in the Big Ten moving forward that coming out last week, right? So all that preseason's fluff everyone talks about is not real. You get to especially now in the transport portal era, you better just get to the season and see who you're playing. And now we're facing a ranked team in week 4, right? And it looks like there's some more ranked. We'll be facing some more ranked teams. The key for us is to play well so we can be a ranked team. And so this is an excellent team we're facing with that's on a mission right now. So we'll have to be ready.
I know you already played some really good receivers in Colorado, but Illinois got 2 guys, including one in Pat Bryant. I think you guys saw last year. A, what kind of players are they? And B, how beneficial is it to have somebody playing at the level that Tommy's playing, where teams don't even really target him very much?
Yeah, well, you look at their offense, right? They're a big power running game with a mobile quarterback. And mobile quarterbacks have bothered us. Okay, mobile quarterbacks have bothered us, but they have 2 explosive receivers on the outside, right? So whether it's Bryant, whether it's Franklin, like they can attack you, and they do a good job of they try to stress you by putting them both out here. So you either have to play a 1-on-1 to stop the run, or you have to double them, play cover 2 or quarters or something like we did against Colorado. And now they can run the football with a 250-pound back. And their other backs got in there this week and they all ran the ball well. So very well put together with how they're doing it. Those guys, one thing about them is they've thrown the deep ball. They have more explosive plays than we have. I mean, they're throwing the deep ball, getting 1-on-1 coverage, not afraid to put it up. And they have great catch radiuses. They can hold off a defender and go up and catch the football. So luckily with Tommy's 205 pounds. He's not a little corner, right? And I think Buford's been playing really, really, really well. And he's, Buford can play corner. He played the dime versus Colorado. He's very versatile. And then, Jeremiah and Amari can play as well. So that'll be one of the main one of the main matchup issues in this game is how well we do versus those 2 receivers when we choose to play a run front. Can we win the 1-on-1s? How well we do with the quarterback containing him. You saw UNI was using the zone read and all that, and they can do that with the quarterback. They can also, the Wisconsin last year drop back quarterback draw, which they do. So it's our front stopping the quarterback, and then again the power run game. And if we give up 180 yards after contact, we won't win the game.
He was going to go watch the film on Saturday night instead of doing it Sunday because of the short week. And how have you managed that? Accelerating this week with your guys so that they're not missing anything that they need to do?
Yeah, so I take a little, maybe a different approach than a lot of people. I keep like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't move it up a day. A lot of people move it up a day. but we do come in on Sunday. So on Sunday we came in, we cleaned up the practice film, we cleaned up the game film, because there was a lot to learn from that game. So we didn't move ahead. We sat there and did all that. We got our lifts in like we would normally do on Monday, Mitch, and then we walked through Illinois. We got ahead, but today we came out. Today's a Monday for us, and so we'll do Tuesday, we'll do Wednesday. Then like our normal Thursday practice will be a walkthrough, but we also walk through on Friday just like we would have on a Saturday. So we don't overdo it. We don't move it up too far forward. And yeah, to your point, like I got a text from Dylan Saturday morning. This is what I need to improve upon. Like he's very good about illustrating that for himself, so he can get better. He takes great ownership of his things, and most of our guys I think do a great job. They've watched the tape before we watch it with them. That's a cultural thing that we have here that guys have had instilled in them. Thanks, guys.
All right, shout out to the Big Ten Network. They just go from press conference to press conference, and now they're going to go out to East Lansing and say hello to Jonathan Smith, and they'll play that thing in full too. Good job by them. The tweet eventually did go out from the Nebraska, social media accounts.
Only because we complained about it on air.
I don't know. Yeah, but we always find a way. We always find a way. Thank God for that tiny baby TV.
That's right.
It helped us out. Oh, and you guys didn't get to see it, but the whole time during the press conference, he had the Nebranoy kid up there, and he had his arm around him.
He was doing the point.
Yeah. And now he's going to go over to Bielema's press conference, and he's going to do the same thing.
And then afterwards, Brett will eat him.
It's like he's like the Chick-fil-A cow. He's just kind of there,
floating around.
I know, it was crazy. I didn't expect that either. All right, big Rhule overreaction when we come back. Next on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Our big Rhule overreaction. Once again, another shout out to the Big Ten Network. Do we owe it to the Big Ten Network now to just go live to the other press conferences? What do you think Jonathan Smith is talking about right now?
Good week of practice, and it really paid off on the field for us.
Michigan State this week prepares for, oh boy. Eventually I'll know everybody.
You know this. Actually, I don't know if you know.
They go to Boston College this week. How about that? I didn't know that. I don't
know how you could.
I didn't know that. No. There was that one guy who called into our postgame show after the Colorado game. He said Nebraska will never beat Michigan State again. It's like, oh, glad we won't have to find that out for another couple of years, probably. All right, main takeaway from our phones, man. Our main takeaway from Rhule is, he made the point about the three parts of being ready, right? Mentally, physically, and emotionally. And he admitted that Nebraska probably wasn't there. They weren't ready emotionally in their most recent game. Colorado, they had all three of them, right? And then he also made the point that last year when Nebraska played Illinois, this is after the bludgeoning that Michigan gave them at home and then the Sunday practice to follow, he said, they definitely were mentally, physically, and emotionally ready, right? They were focused on the task at hand, really, from all the standpoints that you need to be. So they need to get to that place this year. And I think, you have the Friday night, you have the 400th consecutive sellout, you have ranked on ranked. You now know that you're going to start getting, and Rhule made this point too, you're going to start getting teams, good cracks, best shots, stuff like that. And you could wear that as a badge of honor and a badge of pride. But Nebraska will be ready to go on Friday. So people always make the point after they play Northern Iowa, when they're like, well, that same thing ain't going to win you games in the Big Ten. Like, okay, sure. They're not going to play that way. Right? Nebraska's going to be ready. You could pretty much count on that. You could pretty much count on that now.
There seems like with the seniority in they're a very old unit.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's heard.
He said he said he was happy that the team was bothered. Quote, bothered at halftime. He said, I'm glad we're bothered. That means we have a standard that we want to play to, and they didn't feel like they were quite playing up to the standard. So they were bothered at halftime when Nebraska had a comfortable and definitely insurmountable lead. But still, it was like, hey, we're only up 21-3. We should be up by more than 21-3. Great. Go out and do it then.
They let Connor Happer down by allowing a field goal.
They did. God, Josh, that would have been nice if I would have called that shutout and it would have hit.
Yeah.
It would have been really nice for my ego.
You would have been really insufferable today, but I would have been thrilled for you.
Yeah. Just get a couple more, get off the field on third downs a couple times, that first drive. Would have been really nice. With that being said, Nebraska allowed 301 total yards on Saturday, and you would have thought that, the best offense in the country came in and just ran up and down the field on them.
It was just like that Texas Tech team that scored 70 on them, I swear.
Hey, there was an interesting one. Speaking of getting off the field on third down, or in Nebraska's case, staying on the field on third down. Did you see the number that Sam put out there today? And Sam's going to join us in a few minutes here. Sam had a really interesting stat in his 5 stats part of his rewind. He said, here's a weird one, 12. Nebraska leads the nation in gaining 12 first downs by penalty. They don't technically go in the book as third down conversions. They're just conversions in general.
Mm-hmm.
But Raiola's passes in Nebraska's scheme draws a lot of interference penalties, each of which is worth a first down. 4 first downs per game derived from penalties is a hard trend to keep up, but Nebraska is well ahead of its pace for 2023, when it only had 18 such first downs all season long. Over the last several years, 22 is the high watermark from 2016. Nebraska's more than halfway there already. This sort of leads into a conversation about what the Chiefs do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do we want to trigger Chiefs fans yet? What I'm about to say is actually a compliment. All right.
Okay.
So listen.
Try it on.
So the Nebraska now has this thing kind of going as well, and people are still making fun of Dylon for being like Mahomes, and it's going to keep happening.
Well, they do the same thing.
So
get that PI call.
You watch that game of the Chiefs, and you're exactly, Josh. You watch that game, and you're like, man, why does this crap always happen? This always happens to them, and I agree, it always happens to them. I'm not talking about officials. I'm not talking about it's like. Obviously, that was pass interference in the Chiefs game, right?
Very obvious.
Obviously.
Let's be crystal clear about that, Chiefs fans.
Yes.
We know you don't listen very well because you're not that bright, but
what, Josh?
It was pass interference.
Yes, it was. It was 100% pass interference, clear as day. I'm not talking about the rest. I'm just talking about stuff like that. There's been like 100 times in the Mahomes Chiefs era where I'm like, oh, they're dead. Did you see the look on Joe Burrow's face after like the whole change of emotion during that play? Is that, yes, we got him. We did it. And then, damn it! Why can't we kill these guys? That's what happens to the Chiefs all the time. And it's a product of how they go about their business. It's a product of having a great quarterback like that. It's a product of allowing him to make plays. And it's a product of being in close games a lot too, like fourth downs, crucial moments. They always seem to get the, there's a 50-50 thing that happens and it goes their way, right? It's not a call. It's just, they get into these situations where that stuff happens and they always win. And I think that's a product of having a really good quarterback. I think that's a product of allowing your quarterback to have the reign over the offense that he does, like literally the reins, I guess I should say, of the offense that he does. And so I don't know, like not to take the Mahomes to Rhule comparisons too far, but I think there is a little bit of that with this offense, right? That guy, Rhule, now I'm talking about, has extended plays. He's ran for a couple first downs. Eventually he's going to get one where he runs for a first down and someone wants to hit him so bad. And they do, and they end up committing a personal foul, and it's 15 more yards, and he bounces right back up. Right?
He's going to bounce up, and then he's going to do the sniff your finger and point first down thing, and Steve Sipple's going to go, I like that guy.
Yep.
I like the cut of his
Then
jib.
he'll just go right back to the sideline and start going like this and say, give me the next play. He's going to get pass interference calls because of his ability to stretch plays out and throw the football down the field and put it right on the money. Like, he's going to get a couple of those. There's another corollary for you. Sorry, didn't mean to.
This thing's got levels. It's like an onion.
It does. But the best comparison is that they're both really, really good. They're both really, really good.
Okay.
And when you're really, really good stuff happens to you. Even on 50-50 plays that you don't feel like, oh, well, maybe they didn't deserve to have that happen to them, but then it just happens to them.
You get the benefit of the doubt.
It's the way it goes sometimes. Now we're talking over long stretches. We're not talking about individually like one thing. But that was a pretty good example of it on Sunday with Mahomes. And I think that'll probably play out the same way for Mr. Dylon as well.
Dylon.
Thank you, Josh. I
got
appreciate
you.
that.
I thought it might be coming.
Thank you. All right, we're back after this. It's time for the worst segment ever. I remembered to do this today. I'm proud of myself. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
he does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Ah, dang it. I thought that was going to say something about cabbage.
Or your underpants.
My underpants. All right. Quick NFL news here.
You'll understand why we're laughing in a minute.
I mean, it's not funny, actually. It's just sad. This is sad.
Predictable, but it feels like about 2 months too soon.
I was explaining I can't remember who I was having this conversation with over the weekend. If you're a Carolina Panthers fan, of course, which I am not.
Oh, you're not?
No, I don't care about them at all.
You have renounced your fan.
No, renounced from what? I don't care about the Panthers.
Okay.
So the worst place you could be for a professional sports franchise is what I call the pre-build.
Ooh, I like that.
You are not.
I like that.
You are not in the rebuild yet.
Uh-huh.
You are just biding your time to get to the rebuild. And this is the worst place you could be. The Panthers today have officially announced that they are entering the pre-build. They have benched Bryce Young in week two of his second season.
They've played 2 games.
Coach Dave Canales over the weekend, Bryce is our quarterback.
Oh.
Coach Dave Canales today, Andy Dalton is our quarterback.
I mean, Dave didn't draft this fella.
Yeah. He poor guy too. You know, he's going to be a one and done. He's going to get fired after this year. He didn't have to die for this.
I got one in front of me here.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me a stat, Josh.
The Panthers are a 1,000 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. Those are the college football equivalent of that would be Western Kentucky winning the college football playoff. What do we think of the Hilltoppers this year, guys?
Boy. Are they undefeated at least? Because that'd be funny. That'd be funny if they had a loss already.
They lost 63-0 to Alabama on August 31st.
Amazing. That team winning the college football playoff is just as likely as the Super Bowl going to the Carolina Panthers.
They bounced back after that. They shut out Eastern Kentucky 31-0 in the whiteout game that wasn't allowed to be a whiteout. And then they beat Middle Tennessee over the weekend, 49-21. Now they got a tough one against Toledo this weekend, but it is at home.
Big game. All right, the worst segment ever. Last week, I was, thanks to this segment, by the way, I ended up being the highest scoring team in my fantasy league in week 1 because I needed Jake Moody to score a whole bunch just to win the game. Not only did he get that, he was the best player in that game last week on Monday night with San Francisco and the Jets.
It's almost like the 49ers didn't have the ability to punch it into the end zone for some reason.
Interesting. It may have been foreshadowing a bit. I was by far the lowest scoring team in my fantasy league in week 2. I am in shambles. Isaiah Pacheco is dead. Well, he's alive, but his ankle's broken or something.
Fibula.
The Lions don't pass it to Sam Laporta anymore. It's very weird to me. I don't understand them. I do not trust Jamar Chase at all. When is he going? Is he ever going to be productive? I'm confused.
Seems unlikely.
So my fantasy team is immediately in shambles to start the year. Oh yeah, and the Bills won by so much on Thursday night that Josh Allen wasn't able to score any points. So that led to my fantasy team grabbing a nice grand total of 62.56 this week.
That doesn't
not going to win you any games. Enough. Not going to win you any games. I was outscored by almost 70 points this week.
Oof.
Oh, actually, it's not over yet.
You didn't even.
The person
score
I'm playing tonight
points,
has Koo, the kicker.
Oh yeah, okay, he's good.
Yeah. Yep. So that's going well. I didn't gamble this weekend, but I had a nice weekend in picks.
Nice. Good for you.
That's
Did I have
fine.
a bad weekend in picks? You keep saying you had this nice weekend in picks.
I beat you by at least 2.
Picked
I
up a
think.
couple games. Okay.
Yeah. I beat you by 2.
Okay. I'll take that. We'll get back in the lab. We'll get cooking again.
Good luck.
I gambled.
I'm hot right now.
I gambled this weekend.
Yes.
It was a bad bet weekend for your boy.
Bad bet week? Like you made bad bets?
Bad beat. I'm sorry.
Oh, bad beat.
I
You got
misspoke.
bad beat.
I
So it wasn't your fault. It was the game's fault.
That's right. You're damn right.
Gotcha.
My first bet hit, and when your first bet of the weekend hits, you start feeling yourself, and you start doing heat checks.
You see that number in your account go up, 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 up.
Yeah,
up.
I had a profit boost that I had to do a parlay for Alabama, Wisconsin, and I don't know anything about Alabama or Wisconsin yet this year, other than Alabama better than Wisconsin.
Good.
So Alabama spread minus 14.5. Alabama second quarter spread minus 3.5.
Nailed it.
Alabama first half spread minus 6.5.
Nailed it.
Turned into a nice little payday for me. Took a flyer on Oregon State just in case. That didn't pay off. We don't have to talk about that. Then 3-leg parlay. Ole Miss minus 20.5.
Nailed it.
Texas minus 35.5.
Nailed it.
The stupid Georgia Bulldogs, who I hate, minus 22.5.
What's up with those guys?
They do this once a year.
Once a year, they win by 1 point against Kentucky.
Yep. And it happened. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown. Thank you. Chargers money line.
Okay, you got busy.
That was a 100% profit boost on a single game money line. So I'm like, okay, I guess I got to fade the Panthers here. Let's see. And then the last one. I got one more.
Josh.
A touchdown scorer parlay. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown.
With?
Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown scorer. J.K. Dobbins, anytime touchdown scorer.
Yeah, I got it.
Mike Evans, anytime touchdown scorer.
So Mike Evans left you out in the cold on that one?
Mike Evans left me out in the cold.
And Godwin went ham.
When did the Buccaneers and Lions start playing defense? I thought that game would be like 40-30.
I kind of had a sense that the Bucs were going to win that.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say it because I didn't put my money where my mouth was. But this is when Schaefer and I were talking about NFL games up at the press box on Saturday.
That's right.
And we both agreed, like, yeah, this is a good spot for the Bucs.
Nobody talking about him.
Also, he loves fading the Lions. One of his
Well,
favorite things on earth to do.
That makes sense for him.
John emails in on the worst segment. The reviews are in. So we have time to talk. He's calling this football Dungeons and Dragons.
A little bit.
I kind of like that.
A little bit.
Actually.
Yeah.
But so we have time to talk football Dungeons and Dragons, but we can't get to the Caitlin Clark story.
New wrinkle over the weekend. Will we get to it? Actually,
unclear.
While we're right here, somebody called the front office here at Energy Media Omaha.
They called Miss Cynthia?
I believe it was on Friday. Maybe it was Thursday. Doesn't really matter. And complained that we teased that we were getting to this Caitlin Clark thing and did not get to the Caitlin Clark thing. Claims to have listened to the show all the time, which
we've been teasing the Caitlin Clark story since May. It's kind of a bit. I don't know if you've noticed. It's finally time to come out with it. It's a bit. It's a bit.
Not to call you out, but
I can
tell you don't listen to the show all the time.
We have been teasing a Caitlin Clark story for 4 months.
We will get to it when we have time.
Not quite daily, but almost daily, like back in July. And then I went on paternity leave for 3 weeks, and then we kind of stopped. But now it's coming back because the playoffs are coming up. We're going to keep doing this. Sorry.
Definitely.
My apologies. One more email from Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Jason, thank you for emailing the show. His subject line, Panthers fan here, sad face. The worst part is there's no way, shape, or form is Tepper in no way, shape, or form has shown competence. So it's not so much a pre-build as an admission of defeat, and knowing that nothing will be fixed is what being a Panthers fan is all about. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, it's tough. You're gonna want to get rid of that guy. He seems pretty bad.
You're gonna want to dig up some dirt on
Not
him.
my deal though. I don't have a rooting
that
interest.
dirt.
I don't have a rooting interest in this one way or the other. I just feel bad for that franchise, really. I don't have any sort of emotional connection to it.
We
Why
all
would I
do.
care about the Panthers? I don't care.
I don't know
completely.
anyone. Maybe if we lived in like the Southeast and we were around more like Saints or Falcons fans, but there's nobody that's like, yeah, the Panthers deserve this.
Serves them right. Yeah, I think America can all agree that this
Yeah.
is sad.
Yeah.
All right. Josh,
Connor,
another successful edition of the worst segment ever.
Yep, it was really bad.
Great job by us. We are by the way, before we take a break, so Mike, who's a great advocate for healthy gambling habits.
Yes, Mike is great, does great work.
Too many parlays, bud.
No, there's one above that that's even funnier.
Okay, what's it say?
This is the time of year when I say, Josh, do we need to talk?
Josh, lay off the stuff. Lay off the parlays, bud.
It's only a problem if you can't afford to lose it.
You got a little hot, and you need to calm down. Okay.
So close.
Asian Joe writes in, Caitlin Clark's. Josh, you didn't say anything.
I was drinking. Hi, Asian Joe.
Caitlin Clark's story tease handshake meme. Matt Damon getting bumped from Kimmel every night.
You get it.
There we go. There we go. We're gonna keep doing it, by the way. But welcome to our little club. All right, we're back with Sam next on 1620 The Zone. right, we're back. 1 o'clock hour of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. We're joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by Sam McCuin from the Omaha World Herald. Hello, Sam.
Hey, how's it going?
Sam, great. We were just a couple segments ago, we brought up that weird stat that you had in your rewind today about how Nebraska's got like 12 first downs via, what is it, 12 first downs via penalty this year or something like that?
Yeah, so they've accumulated 12 first downs, 4 per game, by a penalty committed by the defense.
What would you attribute that to? I have some guess. I have some, like, it could, there's an air of randomness obviously to it, but what do you attribute that to?
Willingness to throw the ball downfield and the penalties that creates when, I mean, there's something to be said for committing a pass interference penalty and picking up a 15-yard flag versus giving up a 45-yard play. In the NFL, you don't get that luxury.
Right.
Like, if you make that mistake in the NFL, it's a 45-yard penalty.
Yep.
But in college, the risk is kind of worth it. Like,
yeah, if you're throwing it way downfield, just take the 15. That's fine.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it. I also think that Nebraska's just become way more aggressive in the way that they're trying to play football. So I think there's a roughing in there, the questionable roughing penalty on Dylan Rhule in the Colorado game, and which I thought was a makeup call, although he kind of got hit right at the end. But most of it is like pass interference and holding and things that trigger automatic first down, but probably viewed as by the defense as worth the risk, so to speak. So it's a cool stat because it tells you that Nebraska is putting pressure on a defense, and that pressure is manifesting itself into penalties.
I brought up the comp. I mean, I was just making this point. When you go back to the Chiefs game yesterday and how they get that first down on the 4th down with an obvious, pass interference, and you saw the look on Burrow's face after they get the penalty, and it's like, man, we just can't kill these guys. And that's a team that's had success in that stadium too. Some are calling it Burrowhead sometimes still. But right. Like there's the comp that I thought of right away. Like they're throwing it downfield, and they get stuff like that to happen to them more times than not. People often say like, oh, the Chiefs, they get all the breaks. Well, sometimes, good talent can kind of lead you to that point too.
For sure. One thing I'll say about that game and about Mahomes in general is the last thing you want that guy doing is running, because the Bengals lost one game to him, right? Remember when he's pushed right as he gets out of bounds, and it was a late hit, and then of course yesterday with the pass interference, I'd have brought 7. Like I would have said, look, if you want to make a throw 1-on-1, then make a throw, but we are not going to let you run around. And that's the one thing that Mahomes does better than any quarterback I think any of us have ever seen. He makes, once he starts running is when he gets the most dangerous. And so my wife is now a Chiefs fan because she hates Tom Brady so much that she wants Patrick Mahomes to win more Super Bowls than Tom Brady.
What a great reason, by the way.
She's awesome. She's the best. My wife Molly is the best. She means it too. And so, I'm kind of done with the Chiefs personally. I like Mahomes. I don't like a lot else over there. I don't know. I'm just kind of done with them. I wouldn't mind seeing another team going and winning a title from the AFC. Bills. I don't really like the Ravens, but some other. And so I'm rooting for the Bengals yesterday, like sort of unabashedly. And the level of excitement that she gets in that moment, it's just, I said, well, don't worry, they're going to get the 16 yards one way or another. They'll get it. Don't worry.
True.
You know what's going to happen. They'll find a way to get to 16 yards. And then that pass interference penalty happens. As I told you, this is what happens with the Chiefs. This is who they are. And this is how they win games. They return a fumble for a touchdown. They got outplayed by the Bengals.
I know.
They still won the game. and that's why we watch. In the NFL, it's the very best because of games like yesterday. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're kind of like the Patriots now. Only, I really didn't like the Patriots. I sort of like the Chiefs.
Yeah, you can't kill them. They have this they have this immortal quality to them that it's just, and it comes out every single week, and it comes out especially in close games. Hey Sam, I thought Rhule took us through pretty well, like the three things, the three parts of ready, mentally, physically, emotionally. He admitted that Nebraska probably wasn't there emotionally, this past week, and then he made the point about how they're going to start getting teams, best shots now. And the program, with that little number by it and the AP ranking and whatever ranking you want to throw next to them. I guess, how much confidence do you have that they will, because people say they look at the Northern Iowa game and it's like, hey, that's not going to work against Illinois. And they're right. But you also can say, yeah, I don't think they're going to play that way against Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, it might work. I think Illinois is a team that's a little bit better than Northern Iowa. Obviously, they're probably about 14 points better. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I would not personally have Illinois ranked. I don't see it. I can also concede that I was wrong about them, and I thought they would be bad, and they're not bad. They're pretty good. And so, I mean, Nebraska has a whole thing of tape. Illinois' offense has not changed. It's roughly the same as it was last year. And I thought Nebraska did a pretty good job against Illinois last year. So I think they'll have a plan. One of the challenges that comes, with playing Illinois, you just have to deal with their defensive athleticism. They still have a few Lovie Smith recruits left. Once those guys all filter out, I don't know what kind of defense they're going to have. But they still have a few guys that got here back in 2019 or whenever it was, 2020, and those players are pretty good. So they're using those guys well, and this is going to be a real test for Dylan Raiola. And I'm not trying to knock at all what Colorado's trying to get done. I think Colorado's defense is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And they hit pretty hard. But Colorado's just starting that process, and they're probably going to get progressively better. And obviously UTEP, whatever. And UNI is doing the best it can with the athletes it has. This will be a significant defensive test for Dylan Raiola. You're going to see multiple coverages. You're going to see, defensive ends that can get home and make life tough for an opposing quarterback. You're going to see some speed. You're going to see some athleticism in the secondary. It's not necessarily going to be easy for Dylan. And he's going to have to make some throws. He's going to have to, make some completions. So we'll see what happens. I think the defense will be plenty ready. I think at times they miss tackles because they're running 100 miles an hour.
I agree. I think Northern Iowa used Nebraska's aggression to their own advantage.
Yeah. And so one of the things you'll want to watch later this week with Altmaier is he's going to do some of the same things the UNI quarterback did, where he's going to let guys come at him, and then he's going to try to get out the middle. And he's not much of a runner. He'll run, but he's more of I'm going to get out the middle, and then I'm going to buy time and try to find receivers downfield. Nebraska's middle pass rush needs to be a little less porous. They need to bring a little bit more, whatever you want to call it. So that'll be something to watch as well.
Yeah. Sam McCuin from the Omaha World Herald is with us. Rhule also mentioned, we kind of have a mirror image, referring to Illinois. It's kind of a mirror image, and they do look the same, like statistically through 3 games, I guess. And they're generally trying to accomplish the same things, offensively, defensively. What is it like? I think Nebraska obviously has an advantage at the quarterback position when you compare those two. Is there a spot where you feel like Illinois has an edge on Nebraska more than some of the other ones?
Good question. I think their defensive line will give Nebraska some trouble. It's not as good as it was last year, and Nebraska used some run plays last year to get things going. But I do think that their defensive front will give Nebraska some problems. And yeah, I mean, I think Nebraska's got a stronger football team, but they've got 2 very nice receivers for sure, in Pat Bryant and I can't remember his first name, but Franklin. He's a UTSA transfer, Texas San Antonio. They got some players. They don't have as many as Nebraska at this point. I mean, I would like to see Nebraska utilize a running back a little bit more than they have. And I'm not exactly sure how they plan to do that, but I do think Nebraska's running backs, especially Dowdell and Emmett Johnson, are playing pretty well. And so we'll probably learn a few things this Friday. It's a tricky game. It's a short week. It's going to be, how is the crowd going to be? I don't know yet. It's hard for me to tell. It's going to be a night crowd. They're going to be into the game, but they're also going to be coming off of work. And, so it's not going to be the whole day wind up thing that they normally have. The students will probably be fired up, but the crowd will probably be a little bit, oh, I wish we weren't here kind of vibe. And so, it'll be interesting. I think Nebraska's got a chance to win this thing by 21. I think they got a chance to lose. It really depends on how well they come out.
Yeah.
And how well they do against Illinois' defense, which thus far this year has played actually quite well.
All right, Sam, we'll get you out of here. Appreciate the time as always, and we'll see you on a quick turnaround Friday night.
All right, take care.
That's Sam McCuin from the Omaha World Herald. I agree with that last point for sure. I think there's definitely a path where Nebraska takes care of business pretty good here. There's definitely a path where they lose too.
Wide swath of options for second time this season.
I guess so, I don't know. I guess I felt like Nebraska would score more points against Colorado than they ended up scoring. I also thought Colorado would score a few more points as well. But I definitely as far as how it went. We were talking about the way it went all week, right? Hey, I think they're going to suffocate them.
Yeah.
And they did.
We got the vibe right. We didn't really get the score right.
Right. So I wonder, I wonder how that looks this week. How do you respond to the crowd thing that he said?
It's a good point. It's a good question Sam raises.
I disagree with him. I think it'll be pretty juiced.
400th sellout. It's a Friday night. It's kind of special. It's kind of unique. Typically, Nebraska fans embrace that, but I do understand what he's saying about Friday night. It can be that can make for a long day for a lot of people.
Yeah, just personally speaking from experience, Friday night, I get pretty as a 30-year-old man with a child, I get pretty beat up on Friday night for sure. Friday night, I don't really want to do anything anymore.
Pretty wiped.
But that's definitely not. It's definitely not how young people approach it.
That's right.
And I don't know if you've noticed, the young people are really showing up now. The young people enjoy Nebraska football now.
It's trendy. It's hip.
They showed up. I mean, they were there on Saturday night for UNI, man. The student section was full. Credit to them. It would not have been back in my day. It would not have been in my days in college when they were winning a bunch of games all the time. They were good, but we knew what the end of the result was going to be. It's they're going to win 9 games and they're going to lose to Ohio State and they're going to get blasted by Wisconsin and they'll probably lose a game they're not supposed to. I know how this goes.
We've seen that with perennial powers. We've heard Nick Saban talk about, okay, everyone needs to be in their seats for this game on Saturday against Eastern Kentucky or whoever Alabama's going to throttle,
Yeah. Credit to the Wisconsin student section, by the way. It looked like it was actually full for the first time ever, at the beginning of the game. Seriously, it's I mean, people know this if you've been around for a while or if you've gone to a game up there, for the students, it takes forever to get in.
Yeah.
And they have a problem showing up on time, especially for those 11 o'clock games.
Well,
it doesn't happen.
The parking lot is more interesting to them than the football.
I think that's probably true as well. But yeah, they were loaded in there on Saturday night. So I think it'll be good. I disagree with Sam on that. I think it'll be it'll be a really it'll be pretty unique, because of what he said. But 4th consecutive sellout. It's a night game, and it's ranked unranked.
Ranked unranked, first conference game of the year.
And I do think people.
The team still has that buzz to them where it's like, oh, I gotta see this team.
We're also in the process of building up Illinois to be God's gift to earth.
Sure.
We like to do that now. I think they're fine. That's a fine team. Nebraska should win.
Yeah.
No, this is not the one. I'm more curious about Nebraska showing up on the road.
Yes. Against a bad Purdue team.
And I do think, well, not that one.
Oh, okay.
Indiana. And Rutgers is better than Illinois.
Yes.
Rutgers is better than Illinois. So, there'll be tougher challenges, but this one's definitely interesting. All right. We will come back. The Big Ten report card is coming up. Also, I have a stat for you that I'd like to say on the radio. That is coming up on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, so we're doing this new thing where we're going to give out prizes just randomly and variably to, at certain points when people follow at 1620 The Zone on Twitter. Just
a very good Twitter account.
Yeah. And so the lucky winner today is Osama bin Laden.
Whoa.
Yep, that's our newest follower on Twitter at 1620 The Zone. Osama bin Laden followed us.
Did we not get him? I was told we got him.
It appears to be some sort of a parody account.
Oh, okay.
It's at Osama bin Maga. So
interesting.
Yeah. Also, Osama bin Laden in parentheses, alpha male.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Also in their bio, it says no fat chicks. But they followed 1620 The Zone. So congrats to both of us, really. You and me.
We're all winners there.
Oh, yep. That's a big win for all of us.
Can't wait to follow for follow. Smash that subscribe button.
We just got to start following. We will follow you back. That's what we should have done. We should have said, hey, look, you're going to follow us. We'll follow you back. The next 100 followers will follow you back. We got to follow Osama bin Laden alpha male on Twitter. People are now wondering out loud what's going on in the Rhule in the Big Ten coaches group chat.
It's a fun radio segment that everyone is going to do this week, I'm sure. What's it like in the Big Ten coaches group chat?
Yeah. I hate group chats.
I do too.
I would never respond. I would if I found out that I was like in a fraternity like this and I got put in a group chat with a bunch of people that I don't know and I don't really care about, maybe I've met a couple of times, that sucker is going on mute and I'm never seeing it.
Who do you think's the guy that
I'll
never
maybe
responds?
I'll maybe check it once every, I don't know, couple of weeks or something like that. But if it's gonna annoy the hell out of me, I'd be like, hey, is there any way we can not do this over text? You want to just like, if you got something, just throw an email or whatever.
Kirk ain't mixing it up in the text chat.
I don't think any of these guys are doing anything in the group chat.
Ryan Day, Dan Lanning, they seem unlikely.
No, nobody's active in this.
I think Lincoln and James do.
No.
Luke's a little scared too. Yeah, I'm on a first name basis with all these coaches.
Yeah, why are you calling them all by their first names? Also, did you see my comparison from Luke Fickell to Adam Gase over the weekend?
No, but I am very intrigued.
Why don't you check out Twitter like Osama bin Laden did at Connor Happer?
At Connor Happer.
Yeah. So check that out and go down and there's
so much shameless self-promotion. Ooh, Oklahoma bowl game.
Yep. Keep going. Just a little further.
50%.
Back to Saturday night.
That photo, which had a high memeability. That guy.
What guy?
That guy in the background of your Dylan Rhule.
Oh yeah. One more. One more.
That is an absurd interception. It'll certainly stay. Oh, there he is. Oh, yeah. I didn't see this.
Tough day for Luke.
Yeah, that was
tough day for Luke. Yeah, it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just had to take it.
Got rolled.
Breece Hall, who caught a touchdown yesterday, has reported on his Twitter that he got a drug test this morning.
Mm-hmm. Happens a lot with Breece.
Yeah. That's your update from Twitter. Happer's meme guy writes in, quote, from this show, check out Twitter like Osama bin Laden. Just say it. Alex Lincoln wonders if that is Nick Grimm's burner.
Seems a little problematic, don't you think?
Yeah, that would be way too problematic for him to start. Could never be able to connect that back to him. Okay, the Big Ten. Speaking of the Big Ten coaches group chat, the Big Ten report card. We'll make it quick this week. I didn't name them this week. I just gave out the grades and called it good.
Oh, we're getting lazier as the season goes on. I get it.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. Not everybody played this week.
Oh.
And not everybody played next week either. We'll play next week. So we're not going to give away full effort if not everybody is playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
okay.
the deal.
Okay.
or if there's not important conference games, or if there's not important games, period, which there really wasn't
There
this
really
week.
wasn't. Bad slate.
A's, Oregon, Indiana. Congratulations. You get an A. You get an A.
I think UCLA is really bad, but also
No, Indiana deserves an A.
No, I agree. I'm saying that Indiana can be a problem and UCLA is very bad.
Oregon outscores Oregon State 27-0 in the second half to win 49-14. I think that's deserving of an A.
Yeah, they heard us all talking this week and
gets them back on track.
Shut us up.
They made the weird mistake with their offensive line, which was shuffling everybody, and then they fixed it. They were like, let's not do that anymore. Let's just go back to what we normally do and just replace the guy. Done. All right, B's in the trap. Nebraska, Illinois, Michigan State, Minnesota, Northwestern, and Maryland. You all get B's. I was very B happy this week. We're doing it to save the B's, Josh.
The B's.
What about the B's? Nebraska for beating Northern Iowa 34-3, almost having a shutout, by the way. Almost. Illinois for winning 30-9 against Directional Michigan Central. Michigan State for beating Prairie View A&M 40-0. Minnesota for beating Nevada 27-0.
Back-to-back shutouts for the Gophers.
And who else did I give it to? Northwestern for beating Eastern Illinois 31-7. And Maryland for going on the road and beating a power conference team, Virginia 27-13.
Good win.
Nice job by them. C's in the trap. Iowa, who was a little, I don't know.
Didn't expect Troy to score 21.
Troy was hitting some shots down the sideline. They beat Troy 38-21. And we'll give a C to Michigan, who won, but once again, this is concerning. 28-18 against Arkansas State. Arkansas State getting 15 in the fourth quarter to make it close there. It was 21-3 at half. No scoring in the third quarter. Like, this game, if a couple things go wrong, it gets bad. Just like that Fresno State game.
Yep.
And then the Texas game actually was bad. The report cards have not been good for meat chicken this year.
And now USC is
up
they're
looming.
And
they're looming.
They put the orgy man in at quarterback now.
D's. Throw some D's on that.
I get that reference.
Good song. We get one D this week.
A lone D.
That would be to Washington. Washington for losing to Washington State and getting dunked on and besmirching the good Big Ten Maps commercials name by having their rival dunk on it. I was so happy to see that.
And then
because I don't give a rip about the stupid commercial, and I think it should be dunked on more.
Oh my.
Yep.
Washington State wins the Apple Cup and says, we're going to figure out a new trophy for this game because bleep you, Washington.
Hell
You
yeah.
left us.
I respect that.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
Like me to that guy at White Castle. I respect that. You get a D, Washington. 3 Fs this week.
Oh, wow.
3 Fs.
I thought a good teacher didn't give Fs or something like that.
Nope. No rehabilitating these guys.
Okay.
Wisconsin.
Okay. Yeah. That's that. Yeah.
Smash City. Not good.
Pain.
It was Alabama, but it wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue. What the hell? Purdue.
Notre Dame with no O-line scored 66 points on Purdue.
All of a sudden, after week 2, people were like, I don't know, man. Maybe Purdue. Watch out.
Nah.
Watch out. They beat they had a bye in week 2, and Notre Dame lost. And people were like, I don't know, Purdue. Whoa, baby.
So Purdue had extra time to prepare for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
At home, 66-7.
And then UCLA. We're getting close to as we go on in a couple weeks here, we'll start canceling teams and we'll start kicking teams out. I mean, these 3 are all on watch. Obviously, Northwestern's on warning at this point as well.
Very quickly, I know we got to get out of here for this segment. Yes. UCLA fumbled on their first offensive play.
Yep.
And then their second drive, 14 plays, 42 yards, 7.5 minutes, missed field goal.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Ten, UCLA.
Did you see the sunset behind the San Gabriels, though?
I didn't because the Big and 60 replay was really choppy. I don't know what intern edited that, but
Texter
do
from
it
the,
again.
from the 402, there's no R in Washington. I beg to differ. I see it. Say Washington. Washington.
Say wash.
Just a couple stats here that I want people to know about. Big Ten bonus stat check. Dylan Gabriel has an 84% completion rate.
That's ridiculous.
Davis Warren, who's now been benched for the orgy man, 2 touchdowns, 6 picks. Michigan's quarterback. Not great.
No.
Iowa's Caleb Johnson leads the league in rushing by more than 100 yards. He also leads the nation in rushing. 479 yards already on 61 attempts. They're loading him up. Iowa's Reese Dakin, that's their punter, has already punted 18 times already this year. Most in the league by 2. Maryland's Ty Felton leads the league in catches and touchdowns and yards. 27, 447, and 4. He's third in the country so far in receiving yards.
15 incompletions all season.
Not bad. And that's your Big Ten's bonus stat check. Brought to you by Could Be You. We're back after this with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone. Travis writes in, don't bishop my Washington, Connor.
It's been Bishop.
I kind of just say it that way now. Ironically, for the record.
That's how it starts.
That's not how I say it in real life, but like you said, Josh, that's how it starts. So watch out. We might have a new Washington guy on the block. Gonna wash my dishes. Pulse, does Connor Happer seem like an Okaboji guy? Do I seem like an Okaboji guy?
We know you're not.
What does that mean? What's the vibe of an Okaboji guy?
Good question.
I don't seem like a guy who likes to wear sandals all the time.
Sandals, like dirty sandals.
No, I don't seem like that. I'm pretty
Yeti.
I'm a pretty polished, like well-kempt,
cooler.
clean guy. Like, you know.
You do like a bucket hat.
I don't like to camp.
Yeah.
I don't like boats.
You don't like boats?
I don't like to. No, it's not that I dislike, but I don't like the boat life. I don't like boat life.
I don't want to own a boat. I want to ride around.
Yeah, I'll be on your boat
and,
for a couple hours
and not drink beers because you don't do that on a boat.
Really?
Connor, it's illegal.
You can't drink beers on a boat?
I don't know.
There's no way that's true.
I don't know.
That can't be true. You can't drink, like, you can't be super hammered if you're driving a boat. Anyway, okay. I don't think I do, but I know how this is going to come back. 73% say yes.
That's right.
Is Okaboji a bunch of posers? Yes.
Kind of seemed like it.
73% say yes.
I forget who said that, but they made a good case.
Are most guys Dolly Parton fans?
Most voted on poll question of the day.
Kind of seems like it.
I would vote yes.
Only 52% say yes.
Whoa, upset.
Those are the polls. We also have a nice retweet of a graph that I don't understand. That's the Bud Davis thing.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching the National Football League. Falcons, Eagles. Eagles are a 5.5-point favorite tonight. 7:00 start on ESPN and ESPN2. Also right here on 1620 The Zone.
Is it possible for me to not like either team?
It is, but
Okay.
I mean, one of them is likely going to win the game. I guess a tie is possible.
Somebody will cover.
Yes. In the third quarter, Jason Kelsey will join Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in the booth for that. On the Manning cast tonight, you get Bill Belichick, Miles Teller, and Matt Ryan. Also,
Does Miles Teller have a personality?
He's friends with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
So
Like what do you mean by that?
They are friends.
Well, Aaron likes to experience all walks of life.
Yeah.
His friends in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean Miles Teller has to be one thing or the other.
No, I'm not accusing him of that at all.
I don't know.
He does have a punchable face, though.
I might check in to see if Miles Teller has personality or not.
Everyone's going to tell you this all night long. Kirk Cousins, very bad in prime time, 3-10 in his career on Monday Night Football.
Mostly just bad at football going off of last week.
Yeah, remember that? He's still injured. Twins and Guardians, 5:40 ESPN Plus. Dodgers Braves wrap up a 4-game set, 6:00 on MLB Network. White Sox Angels, 8:30 MLB TV free game of the day. Astros Padres, 9:30 on MLB Network. 2 episodes of Celebrity Family Feud on tonight. 2 episodes. One at 7, one at 8 on ESPN. In the second episode, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend go up against celebrity chef David Chang, who enlists the help of Omaha's own Mina Kimes and Pablo Torre.
Every once in a while,
team.
Chrissy Teigen reminds me that she exists.
Uh-huh.
That's nice.
And after that, at 9:00 on ABC, it is the best of Steve Harvey, a special look back on the last few decades of Family Feud, highlighting iconic moments and Steve's funniest jokes from the series. That's all that my Instagram feed is.
Yeah, I know. That's all on TikTok already.
And that's what I've cultivated it very carefully to only give me Family Feud clips.
Yeah, you don't need to watch that show. Josh already has it. He can send them to you.
I'll send you the best ones.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, you can find it all conveniently located on our website, 1620thezone.com. The crossover is next.